Do, 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 do. Streaming now. Here we are streaming. Here we are streaming. And stream on. Here we are streaming now. Wow. So I was gone last week because my brother was in town. Peanut Butter Beatrice, good to see you. Good to see you, Peanut Butter Beatrice. I gotta tell you, I'm always kind of awed by the reality that when I hit record, there are people listening. As the weather has gotten nicer, of course, less people, but that makes sense. People are outside doing things, protesting, attending things, enjoying the beautiful weather, getting to the beach. Hard to blame anybody. It's a little tempting to shut the stream down for the summer months, you know? Because for goodness sakes, it is. It's just gorgeous out there. We're competing with the beautiful weather. There's a little part of me that just wants to be like, what are you doing here? Go to the beach. Get outside. Go to a protest like thousands of other people are doing. Get shot by rubber bullets. Wouldn't that be fun? So I was not here last week because of my brother. He was in town. We went to Canada's Wonderland. Had a great time at the great time. But we had a time at the Canada's Wonderland, which is a theme park. Like, think of if somebody was like, back in like 1984, someone's like, I bet we could do Disneyland on the outskirts of Toronto. It's like budget Disneyland. It's like that meme, you know, Mom, can we go to Disneyland? We have Disneyland at home. And then you're like, you go and it's pretty good, though. It was beautiful. I shouldn't rag on it too much because it really was. It was beautiful. When you walked in the front door of Canada's Wonderland, you get to see this absolutely beautiful, like, man-made mountain that they've made, and they've got all these rides that are built into the mountain, and there's this beautiful waterfall that cascades from it, with garden scene and like a beautiful bridge. Yeah, the whole thing, the entranceway to Canada's Wonderland is worth the price of admission alone. Just like the absolute, they clearly put like a ton of thought into like, this is going to be the first impression. Here it is. You've made it through all the security checkpoints and you're through the gate. Bear witness. Behold the beauty of Canada's Wonderland. We were there for 4 days. That's a lot. I think I got mildly concussed on a roller coaster. Oddity, good to see you. A big shout out to you, Oddity. I feel like, Oddity, you've been doing a crazy amount of work in the Discord recently. You're like right on top. I feel like I am more informed about what's going on in the world because of you. Like this last month I've been finding it like really, really difficult to stay connected and stay apprised of the day-to-day of everything that's going on. Like, for real, if it wasn't for you, Oddity, I think I wouldn't know anything about the Donald Trump, Elon Musk little spat. Like, maybe I would have seen something on TikTok, but I definitely wouldn't know as much as I know. Which, it's annoying that I know as much as I know. Like, everything's gotten so goddamn stupid. Like, everything's gotten, like, so goddamn stupid. And it's amazing how stupid everything has gotten. Like, we have to start... I've been gone for a little while, so I have to kind of, like, do a roundup. Like, just have to, like... Let's just do it. Let's pull up the map, as we do. Right? The center of the capitalist empire is Israel, right? Like, this is the absolute dead center of the power structure at the moment. Clearly, the people who are most in control and most kind of at the helm of directing the Leviathan that is international capital and the capitalist bourgeois, clearly Israel, right? And the tide is turning. It at least rhetorically, the tide has begun turning against Israel. That rhetorically, the European nations have begun this process of denouncing and decrying and speaking out against it rhetorically. This is mainly done to save face amongst their populations. So, like, Keir Starmer needs to say something about it so that he can maintain support in the UK, right? And of course, there's the other direction, which is the American direction. And the American direction is shut up about it. Just shut up. Who cares? Like, the best you'll get is someone like Bernie Sanders being like, it's an unfortunate situation. I know genocide is strong language. You know, there's a strong language to be using. Israel has the right to defend itself, and we have to support Israel in principle, while still criticizing the actions that Israel takes. So it's just like genocide apologencia. Like, it's the best you get. Like, that's coming from AOC. That's coming from Bernie Sanders. Just these absolute vapid, weak-wristed, weak-limp, just flaccid Democrats, which is what we've kind of come to expect from them. That's sort of their job, is to just be like, okay, whatever you say, and basically just do whatever the Republicans want. Like, what was my favorite thing that I found of them recently? Yeah, Democrats face backlash over vote to express gratitude to ICE. Like, the Democrats are facing backlash online after 75 Democrats broke ranks to join Republicans voting for a House resolution which expressed gratitude for immigration and customs enforcement and other law enforcement officers, in addition to condemning anti-Semitism. Like, you live in a country that's full of losers. Like, just stupid, dim-witted losers. AZ over on Twitch says, a couple of years back you would be called an anti-Semite for this. Yeah, an anti-Semite by a bunch of losers. Like, a bunch of stupid losers, right? Like, this is what's so important. Like, everyone's catching up with me, right? For the longest time, I've had to, like, not talk this way. For specifically this reason. Because a bunch of dumb, moronic, small-minded losers would actually say, you have a criticism for someone committing an act of genocide? That's anti-Semitism. And they would expect to be taken seriously. And instead of being treated for what they are, which is a dim-witted loser. Like, as stupid as a flat earther. Like, except far more dangerous and deadly. Peanut Butter Beatrice writes, ICE seems to be transforming into the Gestapo of the U.S. Transforming. Like, transforming. What? No, that's always been what ICE has been. Right? Like, the system of deportation, here are the slight differences that have happened, right? The deportation system has always been a Gestapo, if you're not white, right? If you're brown, it's always been a Gestapo. It's always been able to kick in your doors. It's always been able to kidnap you. It's always been able to terrorize people, right? The small, modest, minor shift which is inevitable and will definitely happen no matter what if you have an organization like ICE in your country, is that now they don't care about any kind of decorum whatsoever, right? It used to be that you had to, like, go to a white supremacist, like, Ku Klux Klan member judge and be like, hey, this guy is here illegally and undocumented, we claim. And the white supremacist KKK judge would be like, I'll believe everything you have to say. I don't need to look at any evidence, rubber stamp of approval. And then you could go kick in someone's door and kidnap them and deport them, right? Now they can just kick in the door and deport people. And there's like a couple of judges in America that are like, hey, about it. Like, that's essentially the conversation, is that now instead of ICE members, you know, waking up a white supremacist Ku Klux Klan member judge, in, when he's having his nap after getting blown by a prostitute or something, like a 14-year-old. Instead of that, you just do it, right? You just do it. And you don't really care who you grab. You don't really care. You don't really have to justify it to anybody. There's no, like, all bets are off. All of the, like, don't tread on me, clinging on to our guns, live free or die crowd are just dead silent. Like, they're having their little clan meetings off on the side talking about whether or not they can start lynching black people again. And there's like a couple of judges in the midst of all of this, just a handful, just the smallest little smattering going, wait, hold on, now wait a minute. Now hold on a minute here. I think that there is such a thing as precedent and the rule of law. And these guys get called radical leftist judges, right? Like the guys that actually stand up and say, hey, law thing isn't law? Aren't we law? Doesn't there law? These people are considered radical leftist judges because the country is now a Nazi state, right? Like, that's what it is. Like, you can never fail to recognize and understand. And this is, I think, the most important thing. That when it comes to Israel and when it comes to the connection to Israel, Israel is the model. Israel is what all institutions across the Western world, the White House, the Senate, the Congress, the Supreme Court, the banks, the World Bank, the World Health Organization, all organizations across the Western world look at Israel and say, this is how you govern. This is how you do it. Find the people who are the problem, cage them, and start assassinating them, and eventually find a justification for just cleansing them. Like, and even better, get into a position where you don't even need to justify it. This is what America thinks. This is how America operates now. America doesn't feel like it needs to justify anything. It doesn't feel like it needs to seek a justification at all. That its justification is we want it. That's it. That's like the only thing. That's why every reason it gives for everything is incoherent and garbage, because they don't want to explicitly say when you don't want to explicitly say we want it. We have a first-time commenter kind of embarrassing himself, Gentle on My Mind, says, hello, Northern brother. So you're an American saying this ridiculous stuff. I see the flags behind you and worry about your mental health. I don't care what you think about my mental health, my man. You probably have really stupid ideas, right? So if you want to stick around, maybe, sharpen up a little bit, because you sound like a stupid person already. Worried about my mental health. Just this, like, liberal head tilting, oh, I'm worried about your mental health. What a condescending thing to say to a person. Stop saying that to people. You sound like a condescending prick. Get out of my chat. AV, as far as I know, after the passing of the Lake and Riley Act, immigrants could be deported for simply being accused of a crime and not even convicted. I am from a relatively authoritarian country, and even this would be considered ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah. Like, America is, like, we're not there yet. We're going full-blown Nazi. We're doing it. Like, we're doing it. You understand? Like, Israel is already, like, full-blown Nazi. Gentle on my mind, man. Sharpen up. Like, we are of the West. Until extremely recently, Canada has been a vassal state. I just think I'm going to ban you. I think you're too stupid to talk to. No, three comments and already you're too stupid to talk to. Bye-bye. You don't know what I know. You're too dumb to talk to. Bye. Sharpen up, dude. Like, you have to attain a certain level of, like, basic human dignity and decency. Right? And I assume as an American you don't have that. Right? And you're too stupid to talk to. It's obvious. Get out. Bye. Too stupid to talk to. Goodbye. Like, flat earther, dumb shit. Don't have time to waste on you. Like, grow up. Learn basic decency and how to talk to people appropriately. This condescending nonsense that you start with, it doesn't make you look smart. It makes you look like the stupidest person I've ever seen in my life. Right? And if this is how you open conversations with people, everyone thinks you're the stupidest person. So, sharpen up. You're dumb. Bye. Yeah, like, we're not even there yet. Right? Like, we're just going to get morons like this gentle on my mind person pretending like this is normal, right? But apologizing for the Nazi nature, normalizing everything that's going on, right? And morons like this are going to come in and pretend like they're intelligent when they're the stupidest person you've ever talked to in your life. Condescending, insulting, annoying losers. Just flaccid, dumbass losers. Watching a Nazi state come up around them while shaking their finger at everyone and being like, meanwhile they're spending billions upon billions of dollars to like literally assassinate Palestinian people and starve them to death. Like, we're seeing it all happen firsthand, and we're not even at the peak of it, right? We're still going click, 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 like up the roller coaster. Right? This is still the moment of anticipation, everyone. Click, 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 click. We haven't even gone down the roller coaster yet. All the protesting you're seeing, all of the crazy shit that you're seeing, everything is just click, 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 anticipation building. Right? America is going full-blown Nazi state. Full-blown. Like, Donald Trump is threatening to arrest governors. He's sending the National Guard into California and Texas. Protests are getting out of hand because we're abandoning huge swaths of the populace. Miss Delane over on Twitch says, CC, I missed you so much. That's kind of you to say, Miss Delane. I appreciate that. Thank you. See, that's a good way to talk to somebody. Like, hey, I missed you. Or, hey, what's your opinion on? Or, hey. Like... Jesus Christ. Like, Americans aren't even teaching, like, basic manners or basic decency anymore. Like, there's an appropriate way to talk to somebody. Like, maybe start with a hello. Like, this Saturday, I think you're going to catch a glimpse of it. Like, this is my guess, right? Like, this Saturday... we're going to see Trump's big parade, right? Trump's going to do a parade, right? And it's going to be like a Nazi parade. And of course, everyone's going to be like, this is like authoritarian China. What is this, North Korea? Everyone's going to look at, like, you know, countries who have had to show military might in order to prevent American invasion. And now the Americans are just doing it because they're like, look how big my cock is. Look how big my cock is, everyone. I am the most supremacist. America first. Right? America first is like an inherently supremacist statement, right? Because you believe that there is a first. You believe that there is someone in the lead. There is a hierarchy. You stand upon it. You are a supremacist who happens to be white. Austin Wallace, how's it going, comrade? I got a new job, started it this week. Good for you, my man. I'm glad that happened for you really quickly, bud. I'm really glad that happened for you so quickly. I hope that you landed on your feet on that one. That's a scary time. It's a scary time to lose your job and then have to, like, swim back, right? So I hope you landed on your feet, my man. Miss Delane has written quite a bit here. So someone on Blue Sky said, yeah, the so-called tolerant left should not be applauding Governor Newsom for his courage and willingness to compromise by talking to dissenters like Steve Bannon or Charlie Kirk, instead of following a set of principles off the cliff like the left does. He was a Wall Street journalist. That's why I don't read the Wall Street Journal. Could you imagine? Bro is, we don't have to kill the minorities, just some. Yeah, I mean, Democrats and Republicans are allies. In the midst of all of this, I do think Gavin Newsom is coming off looking like a real champion. Like, he is. Like, and he's doing it by basically just being like, I have people on my staff who know people who have human consciousness and consciences. Let's ask them to what their thoughts are on this, and then they just like write them down. If you listen to like Gavin Newsom's speeches or releases, they are just like a stream of consciousness. Like just like went out on the street and talked to a bunch of people and took what they said and just went slap, 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 and then kind of like airbrushed it. Or like they type into ChatGPT, like, what would a person who's actually upset with what's going on have to say? I do think that Gavin Newsom is legitimately upset. Like, you don't want the president of the United States threatening to arrest you. I think that's pretty straightforward. So there's like a personal element to it. But the truth is that at the end of the day, like, Americans respond to power. Americans respect power. America is a white supremacist nation with white supremacist values. And so the most competent, powerful person in the room is the person everybody's going to gravitate towards. And right now that is Gavin Newsom. Like, you listen to the things he says, you listen to the statements he's releasing. If the Democrats were wise, which they're not, well, they are in a certain type of way. Anyway, that takes me down a rabbit hole. But Gavin Newsom's probably going to be the next guy for the Democrats, right? Like he has faced this onslaught, and he came out of it looking powerful and pristine, right? I can see how this would get him a lot of attention for the White House if we want to engage in this game of American politics actually mattering, which I rarely do. Peanut Butter Beatrice, the superior race. You bazinga, Peanut Butter Beatrice. You did it. You did it. Dude, I need that on a t-shirt, like the superior race, and have it like be some like fat burger eating like white American being like, America first. America's a great country in the world. Blah, 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 blah. Austin says, seems like it in regards to landing on his feet. I haven't been following politics much other than Bill C-2, which is basically the Canadian Patriot Act. That's correct. Yeah, no, Bill C-2 should immediately, like, the Liberals should no longer be a functioning party. But again, like, if we want to talk about shit that's going wrong in Canada, like, so this is kind of like a cup half full, cup half empty sort of situation. Half of Canadians believe Israel is committing genocide. Poll. So if you're like, hooray, 50%, I'm like, only 50%? Like, this headline might as well read to me, half of Canadians can't discern between what is false or what is real. Eggs D, good to see you, my man. Dave, good to see you too, bud. Like, what is happening in Gaza is a genocide. Like, if there has ever been anything that could be called a genocide, it would be what is happening in Gaza. If you can't call what's happening in Gaza a genocide, then there is no such thing as a genocide, and the term has no meaning. And half of people in Canada are like, I don't know. Or are like, that's not genocide. No genocide happening here. Now, what's going on with the Uyghurs in China? I've never seen a picture of it, and I've never talked to anyone, but they are for sure genocide because the National Post told me so. Like, we really are to a point where there's just no truth left. Like, there's nothing. Like, 1 + 1 = potato. Like, at what point do we actually start demanding and insisting that, like, 1 + 1 = 2 is actually, like, a bar that must be crossed? Like, can you perceive something that is between reality or fake? Like, do you know the difference between real and fake? Can you see and discern the difference? Do you care to know the difference? Does it matter to you if you know the difference? And of course, there is a group of people who will say, well, what's any of this matter? I don't care. They're over there, right? But the hard truth is that if your country is willing to do that to brown people living in Gaza, they're for sure willing to do it to you. And this is why I have to remind everybody, and I say constantly, over and over and over again, that's the model. What's going on in Israel, what's going on in Gaza, that's the model that they're looking at and going, oh, that's how you do it, right? That Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, David Thompson, all of the big billionaires are going to retreat behind their gated communities, right? Zuckerberg's going to go into his underground bunker in Hawaii. Musk goes to his little community town that he's built in Texas, Snailbrook, right? Bill Gates probably has a mountain tunnel in Africa somewhere where he's got a bunch of black slaves servicing him. And all of these billionaires are basically just going to disappear into their gated communities, still blasting out propaganda from into their media sources and their media strings in an attempt to maintain credibility, and basically just turn the rest of America into something of a wasteland that you'll basically just have to work directly for them in like a very cleanly stated feudal makeup, right? That a Peter Thiel will own sections of California, and he'll basically just like walk into schools and be like, okay, you guys were taking and we're moving you into these factories. And people will be like, what am I getting paid for that? And Peter Thiel will be like, that's cute. Off you go. Right? And armed guards will come and they'll like hit people and like they'll put them in place and there'll be public executions and the whole thing. Right? Like that's coming. Like don't fucking fool yourself. Like it's absolutely coming. That like Gestapo armed men will just round people up and throw them into factories. This is how the Industrial Revolution started. This is how capitalism really started, was that armed men under the pay and at the behest of wealthy landowners, capitalists, took feudal serfs and forced them off of their ancestral lands into factories and forced them to work and do factory work in the most miserable of conditions you can imagine, and maintained their power and supremacy the same way that the Israelis maintained their power and supremacy in Gaza. And that's absolutely 100% how the ruling class is going to maintain power and grow wealth in the coming century, right? The capitalists are just going to do capitalism. And what is capitalism? Finding armed guards that are willing to shoot people for money and push them off their land or off their property or away from everything they know into factory work to be more productive. Like, here's your capitalist efficiency. And like Peter Thiel will do it. Jeff Bezos is already kind of doing it. Like he's doing it in a more kind of lawful evil sort of way. Like this isn't so like chaotic evil where we're going. It's more like, well, we have this system of laws, and of course I can go in and pay people $7.50 an hour and just grind their lives away as much as possible and just piecemeal. Like I go into an area where there's 1 million workers, and I expect to burn all of those out as fast as possible. So just right. AV says, what are the other half waiting for? Yeah. Well, I think that there's like a certain percentage that are just like, well, I don't pay that much attention to what's going on in the world. I like my truck. Yuckles. Everybody just needs to bear down and keep working hard and everything will work itself out in the world. Right? Just like, don't pay attention, people. Right? Like literally just like, oh my God, I can't believe I got my nails done last Thursday and they're just so good. One of them already chipped. Oh, this is such a tragedy. My nail chipped, and I'm going to have to go back in and get it fixed. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. And that to them is like communication. That's the level that they're operating at. And I would say like 25% of the society is basically that. Like, and in a kind of way, I think it's like kind of nice. It's kind of nice that there's a section of the society that literally can't ascend or won't ascend beyond like, what are we going to eat today? What's for food today? You know, if I come home and I get my steak and eggs and I put on the TV and go to sleep and I wake up and go work a job I hate for a person I've never met. And that's living. Yuckles. Right? Just simple life. That's like getting harder and harder for everybody to attain. And then you have like 20 to 25% of the society that I think are Nazis. Like, they're just psychos. Like, they want everyone to suffer. They want people to die. They enjoy death. They worship death. Like, it's obviously something that they love, and they have no problem inflicting it on others. And I do think that that's like 20% of the society. So it's like 1 in 5 people you talk to have this kind of ethos about them. It's just, what can they get away with, right? Which leaves the other 50% being like another 20%, like 20% of the society is actually like, oh, we're temporary beings floating around on a living rock, that we should make peace and do as much as we can to ensure that the next generation of humans have a better time, right? Like, we should provide institutional supports. We should make sure everything's okay. So there's like 20% of the society doing that. It's kind of amazing, actually, that 30% have sort of swung away from what I call the gray middle area. Like, that there's the peak of it is literally just like la 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 la, and then there's gradients of it, and it looks like the genocide in Israel has become so obvious that like 30% of that kind of la 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 crowd is finally like, no, I have eyes though. like I'm not going to do anything about it, but if you ask me, I'm going to be like, yeah, it's genocide for sure. So that's my general breakdown of Western society, right? It's 20% of the society is actually interested in something called justice. 20% of the society are Nazis, or Nazi adjacent, or tolerant of Nazis. Like not everyone is like, I have to kill all of the brown people, but like most of them are like, oh, that guy kills brown people. Yeah, he's Phil. He's a funny guy, right? I don't agree with everything he stands for, obviously, but you know, when we go have beers, we have some laughs together. So it's like the normalization of Nazism. So 20% are like trying to improve things. 20% are trying to destroy everything. And that leaves like 60% of people basically just like wafting around, more or less, to certain degrees, right? There's the people who are like, look, I hear what you're saying, but I have to go work a job, right? Like I do agree with what you're putting on the table. I can't do anything about it. I'll go vote for whoever. Oh, the whole system's corrupt. Okay, dude, I got children to feed. Like, there's those people. But then there are also just people who literally, they couldn't if they wanted, because they're just not on that bandwidth at all. Like, you see, and if they do engage with politics, it's just like the most like sports way, like fuck Trudeau. Like, it's like just like this very low level interaction. Anyway, so 50%, like, given those standards, what I just laid out, 50% is actually pretty okay. Like, I'm actually kind of like, oh, wow. Look at us. An extra 30% of people are actually like, oh, hey, that thing is actually a thing that's happening. You kind of hope that it would improve, right? But the idea that it'll ever go above 60%, I think you're kind of dreaming, right? Like, we're a very white supremacist society. We're not very intelligent. So it's sort of a miracle that we're reaching majority levels in Canada of people being like, hey, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. Yeah, Austin brings up the Bill C-2, right? The Canadian Patriot Act. Yeah, this isn't, like, the Liberals have been moving in this direction for a long time. The things that they've been doing for the longest time have been, like, reasonable, I would say. Like, I understand why people were throwing up concerns, but then I would look at the legislation and I would be like, this doesn't actually do the thing you claim. That you're just afraid that the Liberals will, at some point, pull the trigger and then do the thing that you claim they're doing. And that's what they're doing with Bill C-2. I won't be too shocked if it doesn't make it through the Senate. Like, if they try to pass that legislation, which they don't have a majority, right? They've got the minority. So in a kind of a way, this is them tipping their hand, right? It's them basically being like, if you had given us a majority, we could have just erected a United States-style police state. And I mean, it just all comes to show you that, like, the Liberals are the best conservatives can get. Like, if you want a conservative government, just vote Liberal. Like, Carney is probably one of the strongest conservative prime ministers that we've had in recent memory, right? He's certainly doing more than Harper did, right? He looks like he's going to be more effective than Harper. And I'm for real when I say that, like, we should talk about him as if he is a conservative leader, because he is. All of his policies are conservative. Everything that he's doing is conservative. The things that he wants to do, you listen to the plans that he's putting down. He's like building pipelines and shit. Like, it's everything the conservatives wanted. And they're just like, oh, yeah, let's just do what the conservatives say. Right? And it's this constant, consistent race to the bottom where the liberals basically say, oh, we need to peel conservative support away from the conservatives. Meanwhile, 60% of the society doesn't vote. And you go ask the people who aren't voting, hey, why don't you vote? And they're literally like, I can't pay rent. And then the liberals are just like, oh, but we're the landlords, so we're not going to do anything about that, which they say outright. Their housing minister literally is just like, yeah, housing prices are just going to stay this way. We're not going to do anything about that. Straight up. That's just what they say. So, like, these guys are conservatives, which means the conservatives are just off the rails, which we all knew, right? Like, we're facing the real, legitimate, explicit, outright, like, America is going full-blown Nazi, and her allies are beginning to ask, I don't know if we should go full-blown Nazi. Like, I was willing to support America when it was just like, when we could call it neoliberalism, when there was there was a veneer to it, when it was all like hope and change. You know, I was willing to go along with that. Now it's this like crass, boorish, moronic display of stupidity. Like, there's this article that I'm probably going to read by the one and only, right, Chris Hedges. Absolute Chad. Just a total baller of our time. AV writes, it seems a lot of people are only comfortable with calling out these atrocities in hindsight. They're not brave enough to call it out in real time. Yeah, like there's an article, I forget who wrote this article, but it was titled, One Day Everyone Will Have Been Against This. Everyone will have been against the genocide. Like, and it'll especially be true after it's over. Like, once Gaza is actually cleansed, like once it is actually empty of people, and once the Israelis have taken it over, and once the Americans have taken it over, and once they have actually cleansed the area, then everyone will be like, yes, of course. What a terrible thing that previous administration did. And there'll be no sense of like continuity, right? There'll be no sense of like, yeah, this was the Democrats and the Republicans as well as everyone within the establishment agreed. There was a consensus to do this. And that consensus has actually carried on. That whole idea will simply not exist. It'll just not be part of the conversation at all. It'll always be like, when people speak of Trump, everyone will be like, oh, yes, Trump was bad. Yeah, he was bad. Yeah. While he's like getting blown at Mar-a-Lago. Like, he won't face any consequences whatsoever, except he won't get to be the president anymore. Yeah, libs are spineless. They toe the line too much. It's like, this is not really what has to happen. They just keep going until it's obvious. They can no longer ignore it. Yeah, like, look, the only difference between a conservative and a liberal is that when you air your complaints or your grievances or protest, a liberal goes, oh, and that's it. Right? A conservative goes, shut up, work harder. Right? Everyone's got problems. Like, tough it up. Who cares? Privilege, I don't care. Like, I don't care about it. This is all just excuses. Just pull yourself up, get out there, work a job just like the rest of us. Who cares that my daddy gave me a trust fund or any of that kind of stuff? We don't need to talk about it, right? Keep taxes low, shut your mouth and work, right? And if you won't shut your mouth and work, then I'll hire people to beat the shit out of you. Like, that's a conservative. A liberal will go, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, I know things are tough right now, but what we could do is we could make it so that overtime pay goes up by 0.3% over 15 years, but make sure that you get to work, sweetie, because we're all pulling and we're all in this together, and everybody needs to work hard. But I know it's tough. I know it's tough, right? It's like a wife husband duo, and they're both psychopaths, right? It's just one understands that sometimes you need to beat the shit out of someone, and the other person understands that sometimes giving a little person a pep talk and a peck on the cheek is what they need. But their goal is exactly the same: get in the mine, dig the cobalt, shut up. Like that's the strategy. It's good cop, bad cop all the way down. Right? It's good cop, bad cop all the way down. No exceptions. Bernie Sanders is a good cop, but he's still a cop. Miss Elaine says, confesses, really, I used to MAGA. You know what? I think that's okay. Like, if you take a look at, like, the early days of MAGA, and even now there's, like, people who have regret. Like, this is why what the neoliberals did was so dangerous, is because, like, not everybody is politically engaged. Not everybody tries to pay attention to it. Not everybody listens to politics, right? You can get caught up in propaganda. You can get caught up in these systems, and it's everywhere, and it's constant. You don't know who to listen to. You don't know who to talk to, and you don't know where to look. So you end up looking at like Joe Rogan or who's available, right? Your Ben Shapiro's, your Jordan Petersons, right? And these people are being bombarded into your face constantly, algorithmically, and so you're like, well, everybody else must be paying attention to what these smarter pants people have to say. And so what it does though is it activates a lot of illiterate people to become politically minded when they don't have any idea what's going on. And so you have a lot of people who voted for Trump this time, and I'm seeing it. Tons and tons of people who voted for Trump are just like, I regret that decision. Boy, do I regret that decision. And it's because, primarily, I think the primary issue is that people actually think that the Democrats and the Republicans are antagonistic to one another. Like, they actually think that these two parties are somehow not allies. And so you can get caught up in believing this lie that, oh, it's the Democrats' fault and it's the Democrats' problem. We got to vote Republican, and sure, they're not perfect, but they're better on this, and I can go this because the Democrats are the problem. The Democrats are the problem. The Democrats are the problem. Peter Thiel is the problem, right? Elon Musk is the problem, right? These rich psychopaths, the system of capital, that's your problem, right? And both the Republicans and the Democrats operate within that system. They use slightly different tactics, but those tactics complement and augment one another, right? And that's why they do what they do. And so if you're saying you used to be in MAGA, there are people today, right now, who are like, oh, I literally was like voting for this guy. Like, I literally had like there are straight up people who like endorsed Donald Trump at rallies in front of Donald Trump and cheered, who are now saying that he betrayed them completely. So like, you're not alone. Like, this is why I don't think the Trump phenomenon can sustain itself, because he is burning every bridge, right? He's burning every single bridge because that's his path to power. AV writes, I'm watching Hassan's stream on another tab. I keep hearing this. Apparently the U.S. may evacuate their embassies in Iraq, Bahrain, Kuwait, out of fears Israel will attack nuclear power plants in Iran to sabotage any peace negotiations between the U.S. and Iran, thus invoking Iranian response on nearby embassies and military bases. Yeah, this is like what dying empires do, right? Like, if Israel, or the United States for that matter, embarks on like a full-scale invasion of Iran and the Middle East generally, like, it'll be the end of them. And it's what all dying empires do. It's desperation. It's just outright desperation of just like a bunch of like slavishly minded psychopaths just throwing themselves at they're literally like, this will be the final conflict. This is the final solution, right? Failing to recognize that like the Iranians have been preparing for this for years, since the 50s. Like, the Iranians have been ready. They've been getting themselves ready for exactly this type of thing. And they're not just going to stand by and be like, well, I guess we're in the United States now, yuck. Like, that's not what's going to happen. And if Israel wants to make that move, I think that Israel will probably no longer exist. Like, I don't see how Israel walks out of this. Like, this is something that I keep saying over and over again. Just like there are books in the Bible that start with phrases like "woe be to Israel" that I feel like the Israelis should be reading right now. Like, Israel has a long history. You can read about it in the Torah. This is not anti-Semitic. You can read their Bible. You can read their books. Israel has a long history of alienating everybody in the region around them, much to the chagrin of the intelligentsia and the prophetic class of people within the society who are like, don't do that. You want to live peacefully with people. You don't want to antagonize them. And then what happens? The people they antagonize come in and wipe out Israel and destroy it and occupy it. That's what happens. And incidentally, that's how this ends. Like, that is how this ends. Like Israel is not going to just go, oopsie-doo. Like, Israel's not going to have, like, a come to Jesus moment, right? Like, literally, here's a Haaretz article, came out May 28th. Yes to transfer. 82% of Jewish Israelis back expelling Gazans. 82%. Like, if you're that 18% that's like, nah, then you got to leave. You got to get out of Israel, my man. Because there's only one end for this. There's only one way this ends. If Israel's going to keep acting this way. And because the road back from this, it's a long road, dude. That's a long road. And they're just not going to do it. Like, they're not going to begin the process of actually doing the things that would need to be done for them to be able to live peacefully in that region. Because they lack the awareness to be able to do it. Like, as far as they're concerned, they're God's chosen people. Like, it's over for them, my man. You can't exist in this plane of reality like that. And soon they won't. And if they actually kick off an invasion against Iran, they definitely won't. Like, they definitely won't. So, I don't know why people, like, hey, Israel, you're going to destroy yourself. Like, you shouldn't. But you're going to. And I guess I'll give you the liberal treatment. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Miss Delane says there's some people who will be like, yeah, I always knew I was on the right side. Like, some people were, but I'm pretty sure not all of us were. I'm brave enough to say it. Yeah, I think that's an honest position, Miss Delane. I think, and honestly, like, I think that it is fine to say that you were taken in by the mega stuff, because they really did grab hold of people's anger, right? And there was, like, a lot of rage, and there still is a lot of rage, and there is a lot of this stuff that people like Trump exploited and took advantage of, right? Sure, maybe a lot of the MAGA people are like, they don't really get what's going on. But that's because you just have very angry, illiterate people just swinging at the fences on ideas. And they don't really know what they're talking about. And then when you actually confront them with ideas that work, they're like, but that's communism! It's like, the system that's abandoning me is what I'm angry at, and that system has lied to me about what the solutions are, but I believe them when they say these things. Like, it's just, like, silliness. Like, they haven't given up enough on the system of capital. They still think that it's like, we just need regular old capitalism. This is crony capitalism. That's what this is. Failing to recognize that, like, this is just capitalism, baby. Like, that's just how it works. But I think, like, it'd be really great if we could have, like, a straight truth and reconciliation movement where everybody was like people could stand up and be like, yeah, I was part of the MAGA, and I did this, I voted this way, I thought these things, and I'm sorry. And where people could go, I accept your apology, you know? Like, I pray for a day where we can get to there, where the people who have done this evil can admit that they did so unwittingly, I think that there are some people who can't come back from it because they didn't do it unwittingly, like the Heritage Foundation. All of those people should go to like crime tribe, like War Hag, like everything. Like they should be hung. We should watch them. We should film it. We should play it in schools. Like these people are deeply, darkly evil and Naziistic, and we should get rid of them. Like we should put them on trial for sure. Hab writes, good to see you, by the way, Hab. The West is in rapid decline due to their refusal to confront the contradictions of capitalism. Revolution is coming, Conrads. Like, I think you're right. Like, if this is how the American system is going to respond to protest, like, can you imagine if this was happening in China? Like, can you imagine if what was happening in California was happening in China? Right? Like, think about how much these guys cannot shut their mouths about the Tiananmen Square. Like the Tiananmen Square protests, what they call the Tiananmen Square massacre, right? They just cannot shut up about it. They're constantly talking about it. Like, here's the tank man. Look, it's the tank man. Over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And then you can like find footage of like police cars literally just running people over in America. Like, we're shown a picture of a guy standing in front of a tank and we're all supposed to go, oh, oh, oh. Meanwhile, I can show you videos of police officers just walking around pepper spraying people, just shooting people with rubber bullets, trucks just running over protesters, right? And everybody's just like, that's just normal. That's just how we're just working it out, you know? It's just good old boys trying to work out a situation, right? And you're like, pry into what the difference is, and it ends up being that the difference is that we're white, and so that's it. Like, that's it. They're not white, and so if they have a tank and someone stands in front of a tank, we're all supposed to go, oh, oh, oh. But if we have a fleet of jeeps gunning people down on the streets, it's like, yeah, that's just policing, you know. It's not all cops, you know. Miss Delane continues, the environment opened me up to leftist ideas. Like, always liked people like Greta Thunberg, and Israel broke me out of the right completely. That was my tipping point, yeah, for sure. If it happened in China, these Chinese people would go full old guard on them. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Like, the Chinese revolutionary spirit still exists, for sure. And so Miss Delane, I always direct people towards Chris Hedges. Chris Hedges' work. He's been talking about this stuff for years and years and years, his whole life, really. And he's so prolific, right? He knows exactly what's going on. Dave writes, I agree with you, John, but he still has a large group of people who are willing to follow him, Donald Trump, until the wheels fall off. Yeah, that'll for sure happen, right? Like I say, 20% of the society are just Nazis. Like, they're just like... And again, I don't mean like 20% of people are like, Sieg Heil, Nazi, Nazi, Nazi. Just like 20% of the society are basically like, oh yeah, that guy's a Nazi. I play cards with him. Like, that, they're just fine if that guy's a Nazi. It's like, oh, that's just Bill. That's just Nazi Bill. Right? Oh yeah, well, we go to Nazi Bill's after church on Sundays. Like, that's 20% of the society, that they're just completely fine. Like Jason Voorhees standing in the living room, surrounded by corpses, covered in blood, machete out. And the guy's like, yeah, but he plays cards real well. Like, straight up. 20%. Isaac, good to see you, Isaac. Isaac says, Democrats say Trump is bad, but they voted for the great beauty bill. Yeah, exactly. No, the Democrats are flaccid. They're completely like they're the sub and the Republicans are the dom. Like, that's just the relationship they have. Isaac writes, there is a Cuban artist in Miami who sang songs against Cuba and did rallies for Trump and now is being deported. He was claiming asylum. Yeah, like those kinds of stories, right? Like those kinds of stories of just like Latinos for Trump being arrested by ICE agents, that kind of thing, right? So here's one from Chris Hedges. Jefferson Thompson, good to see you. I love Chris Hedges. I feel like I've read the majority of what he's written. and this will be no different. I really recommend Death of the Liberal Class. Death of the Liberal Class and Fascism, or America: The Farewell Tour are really great. Are really great write-ups. And here he is writing an article on a Substack called "The Rule of Idiots." I was so happy when I saw this article because I've been saying for a long time that our problem is stupidity. And now here's Chris Hedges, like, coming out and just, he's going to say it in such a way that's going to be like, goddamn Chris Hedges, man. Like, if you guys come and listen to me for like, for just like raw, unfiltered, like, here's the truth of what's happening to us, then Chris Hedges is the guy who like takes that sort of raw energy and just like manages to put it in like a perfect spherical, like smooth crystal ball that like projects the idea directly into your brain. And he's just so good. In the last days of all empires, the idiots take over. They mirror the collective stupidity of a civilization that has detached itself from reality. Chris Hedges. What a first of all, I gotta save this picture. What a great picture to hang on to. All right. Puppet Theater of the Absurd by Mr. Fish is the source of this. The last days of dying empires are dominated by idiots. The Roman, Mayan, French, Habsburg, Ottoman, Romanov, Iranian, and Soviet dynasties crumbled under the stupidity of their decadent rulers who absented themselves from reality, plundered their nations, and retreated into echo chambers where fact and fiction were indistinguishable. Like, what a guy, man. Like, what a guy, dude. Donald Trump and the sycophantic buffoons in his administration are updated versions of the reigns of the Roman Emperor Nero, whose allocated vast state expenditures to attain magical powers. The Chinese Emperor, Qin Shi Huang, who funded repeated expeditions to a mythical island of immortals to bring back a potion that would give him eternal life. And a feckless Tsarist court that sat around reading tarot cards and attending seances as Russia was decimated by a war that consumed over 2 million lives and revolution brewed in the streets. In Hitler and the Germans, the political philosopher Erich Vogelin dismissed the idea that Hitler, gifted in oratory and political opportunism, but poorly educated and vulgar, mesmerized and seduced the German people. The Germans, he writes, supported Hitler and the grotesque marginal figures surrounding him because he embodied the pathologies of a diseased society, one beset by economic collapse and hopelessness. Vogelin defines stupidity as a loss of reality. The loss of reality means a stupid person cannot rightly orient his action in the world in which he lives. The demagogue who is always an idiot is not a freak or social mutation. The demagogue expresses the society's zeitgeist, its collective departure from a rational world of verifiable fact. These idiots who promise to recapture lost glory or power do not create. They only destroy. They accelerate the collapse. Limited in intellectual ability, lacking any moral compass, grossly incompetent, and filled with rage at established elites who they see as having slighted and rejected them, they remake the world into a playground for grifters, con artists, and megalomaniacs. They make war on universities, banish scientific research, peddle quack theories about vaccines as a pretext to expand mass surveillance and data sharing, strip legal residents of their rights, and empower armies of goons, which is what the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement has become, to spread fear and ensure passivity. Reality, whether the climate crisis or the immiseration of the working class, does not impinge on their fantasies. The worse it gets, the more idiotic they become. Hannah Arendt blames a society that willingly embraces radical evil on this collective thoughtlessness, desperate to escape from the stagnation where they and their children are trapped, hopeless and in despair. A betrayed population is conditioned to exploit everyone around them in a desperate scramble to advance. People are objects to be used, mirroring the cruelty inflicted by the ruling class. A society convulsed by disorder and chaos, as Vogelin points out, celebrates the morally degenerate, those who are cunning, manipulative, deceitful, and violent. In an open democratic society, these attributes are despised and criminalized. Those who exhibit them are condemned as stupid. A man or woman who behaves in this way, Vogelin notes, will be socially boycotted. But the social, cultural, and moral norms in a diseased society are inverted. The attributes that sustain an open society, a concern for the common good, honesty, trust, self-sacrifice, are ridiculed. They are detrimental to existence in a diseased society. When a society, as Plato notes, abandons the common good, it always unleashes amoral lusts, violence, greed, and sexual exploitation, and fosters magical thinking. The focus of my book, Empire of Illusion, the End of Literacy and the Triumph of Spectacle. The only thing these dying regimes do well is spectacle. These bread and circus acts, like Trump's 40 million army parade to be held on his birthday on June 14th, keep a distressed population entertained. The Disneyfication of America, the land of eternally happy thoughts and positive attitudes, the land where everything is possible, is peddled to mask the cruelty of economic stagnation and social inequality. The population is conditioned by mass culture, dominated by sexual commodification, banal and mindless entertainment, and graphic depictions of violence, to blame itself for failure. Soren Kierkegaard, in The Present Age, warns that the modern state seeks to eradicate conscious and shape and manipulate individuals into a pliable and indoctrinated public. This public is not real. It is, as Kierkegaard writes, a monstrous abstraction, an all-embracing something which is nothing, a mirage. In short, we became part of a herd, unreal individuals who never are and never can be united in an actual situation or organization, and yet are held together as a whole. Those who question the public, those who denounce the corruption of the ruling class, are dismissed as dreamers, freaks, or traitors, but only they, according to the Greek definition of the polis, can be considered citizens. Thomas Paine writes that a despotic government is a fungus that grows out of a corrupt civil society. This is what happened to past societies. It is what happened to us. It is tempting to personalize the decay, as if ridding ourselves of Trump will return us to sanity and sobriety. But the rot and corruption has ruined all of our democratic institutions, which function in form, not in content. The consent of the governed is a cruel joke. Congress is a club on the take from billionaires and corporations. The courts are appendages of corporations and the rich. The press is an echo chamber of the elites, some of whom do not like Trump, but none of whom advocate the social and political reforms that could save us from despotism. It is about how we dress up despotism, not despotism itself. The historian Ramsay MacMullen, in Corruption and the Decline of Rome, writes that what destroyed the Roman Empire was the diverting of governmental forces, its misdirection. Power became about enriching private interests. This misdirection renders government powerless, at least as an institution that can address the needs and protect the rights of the citizenry. Our government, in this sense, is powerless. It is a tool of corporations, banks, the war industry, and oligarchs. It cannibalizes itself to funnel wealth upwards. The decline of Rome was the natural and inevitable effect of immoderate greatness. Edward Gibbon writes, prosperity ripened the principle of decay, the cause of the destruction multiplied with the extent of conquest, and as soon as time or accident had removed the artificial supports, the stupendous fabric yielded to the pressure of its own weight. The story of the ruin is simple and obvious, and instead of inquiring why the Roman Empire was destroyed, we should rather be surprised that it had subsisted for so long. The Roman Emperor Commodus, like Trump, was entranced with his own vanity. He commissioned statues of himself as Hercules and had little interest in governance. He fancied himself a star of the arena, staging gladiatorial contests where he was crowned the victor and killing lions with a bow and arrow. The empire he renamed Rome the Colonia Commodiana, colony of Commodus, was a vehicle to satiate his bottomless narcissism and lust for wealth. He sold public offices the way Trump sells pardons and favors to those who invest in his cryptocurrencies or donate to his inauguration committee or presidential library. Finally, the emperor's advisors arranged to have him strangled to death in his bath by a professional wrestler after he announced that he would assume the consulship dressed as a gladiator. But his assassination did nothing to halt the decline. Commodus was replaced by the reformer Pertinax, who was assassinated 3 months later. The Praetorian Guards auctioned off the office of emperor. The next emperor, Didius Julianus, lasted 66 days. There would be 5 emperors in AD 193, the year after the assassination of Commodus. Like the late Roman Empire, our republic is dead. Our constitutional rights, due process, habeas corpus, privacy, freedom from exploitation, fair elections and dissent, have been taken from us by judicial and legislative fiat. These rights exist only in name. The vast disconnect between the purported values of our faux democracy and reality means our political discourse, the words we use to describe ourselves and our political system, are absurd. Walter Benjamin wrote in 1940, amid the rise of European fascism and looming world war, a Klee painting named Angelus Novus shows an angel looking as though he is about to move away from something he is fixedly contemplating. His eyes are staring, his mouth is open, his wings are spread. This is how one pictures the angel of history. His face is turned towards the past, Where we perceive a chain of events, he sees one single catastrophe, which keeps piling wreckage upon wreckage and hurls it in front of his feet. The angel would like to stay, awaken the dead, and make whole what has been smashed. But a storm is blowing from paradise. It has got caught in his wings with such violence that the angel can no longer close them. The storm irresistibly propels him into the future to which his back is turned, while the pile of debris before him grows skyward. This storm is what we call progress. Our decay, our illiteracy, and collective retreat from reality was long in the making. The steady erosion of our rights, especially our rights as voters, the transformation of the organs of state into tools of exploitation, the immiseration of the working poor and middle class, the lies that saturate our airwaves, the degrading of public education, the endless and futile wars, the staggering public debt, the collapse of our physical infrastructure, mirror the last days of all empires. Trump, the pyromaniac, entertains us as we go down. What a fucking baller, dude. Jesus, dude. He's only getting better, man. Hedges is only getting better. That's what's crazy about him. Like I've loved this guy since I first encountered Chris Hedges during the Iraq War. And I saw a viral video of him getting booed off a commencement speech he gave. I believe it was for Harvard. It could have been for another organization, but let's say Harvard in this case. He was giving a commencement address, and he condemned the Iraq War, and they booed him off the stage. And I immediately was like, I need to know more about this guy. And so I picked up his book, Death of the Liberal Class, and I remember reading it and being like, nailed it. He just got it right. And then I just kept reading his stuff, and he's just always been absolutely on the ball. Renovation writes, the one criticism I have of him is that he's anti-com, but he's great on everything else. Yeah, I mean, but his concerns about communism are the anarchist concerns. He considers himself an anarchist. And I'll say it over and over and over again. The concerns that anarchists have about communism are correct. Like, just straight up. Like, the concerns that anarchists have about communism is correct. Their criticisms are not wrong. And in fact, you want that criticism out there to prevent communists from doing the very things that some inheritors of communist countries have done, right? Like the collapse of the Soviet Union happened because the ruling class gave up on the concept of communism. Like, that's what they did. They turned their eyes towards the West, and they started looking at free market capitalist-based solutions to their problems instead of actually going back, reading Marx, taking a look at what could have worked or what could have functioned, right? And so we need people like Chris Hedges. Like, I still consider myself a communist because I don't think, like, a man like Chris Hedges wants. And here's sort of, I guess, a critique, if you'd like to call it a critique. I don't think it is a critique. But I just think that Hedges doesn't see himself as somebody who will ever take power. He wants to be in a position where he is going to endlessly critique power. He wants to be the critic of power. And that's how he perceives himself. I don't think that he's actually interested in taking power. I think that he'd like to work with people who take power. Right, at best. But I don't think he would ever see himself as like a politician or a governor. Whereas like someone like myself, it's like, no, we have to take power. Like, we have to take power away from these people and like push back against them. Like, people should go to jail. Bare minimum, like barest of minimums, people should be in jail. And if we're not actually going to say so, XD writes the Soviet bit, but it's accurate. It is accurate. The decline of the Soviet Union was ushered in by figures like Gorbachev and Yeltsin, right? Like, and it was because they are stupid. They're stupid people, and it happens with the same kind of stupidity. That my hope, I pivot this over to like China. My hope for China is that they will build a resilient institution that is sort of aware of these dynamics. Right? Like, we seem blissfully unaware of these dynamics. Or like we pretend like we're immune to them. So my hope for the Chinese is that they'll build a resilient institution. Hull, good to see you. Latinos should not complain. They vote for it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. It's easy to get taken in. Like, Trump is a prolific, charismatic figure. And, like, it's easy to get taken in. Especially if you look over to the other side and they're the ones that have been deporting you all along, which is the Democrats. So, like, I can see how, like, let's give this a shot. Like, people get caught up in it. Like, people get caught up in the game of Republican versus Democrat. And even if you get... We have the sort of pleasant privilege of taking a look at it from a more meta standpoint and have a larger view. Lots of people don't have that. And moreover, I learned this a long time ago. This was a tough lesson. This is a difficult lesson. But it's absolutely the truth. Most people can't do it. And they can't do it not because they're dumb, or not because they couldn't, right? They can't do it because they've got children to feed. Like, they've got, like, real things happening in front of them. They simply cannot... They don't have the bandwidth to also have this, like, at least part-time job. Eventually, all of us are going to have to engage in it. Like, the system is going to collapse so desperately that everyone is going to have to be, like, a part-time revolutionary. Like, it's just how everything is going to happen. But I can respect why somebody would be like, no, I'm going to work 2 full-time jobs so my kids have food and maybe I can get them to college someday. Now, I'm not also going to be like, who's my representative? Okay, whatever you say, man. Like, are you raising my wages? No? Okay, bye. Like, most people don't vote. Like, that's the reality of the situation that we're in. Like, most people are not actually engaged at all in the system at all. Like, most people don't turn out to vote. So we shouldn't be surprised when the people who are not turning up to vote, when they do turn up to vote, they're turning up to vote for a very, like, sort of specious or emotional is the better word to use, right? People are primarily emotionally driven. People primarily exist as emotional creatures, primarily. The intellectualization, the ability to perceive that which is true, the ability to tell the difference between what is false or what is true, the ability to even know that you're in a situation where you need to tell the difference between what is false or what is true, right? Skepticism, these sorts of things. Like, these are active skills that you build over time. And you have to be confronted by things, right? You have to be confronted by things. You have to experience a liar. You have to experience bullshit. Like, you have to see it. If you're just one of these, like, professionally trained yes men who have just climbed the corporate ladder and you've never actually been impeded at all, right? You think you're this super smart person, and then you find out the guy's basically stopped developing at 6, at like 12 or something, and he's just been like, yes sir, do that, yes sir, that's how I get money and power, yes sir. So don't be too surprised that when they finally take power, they're like, well, what did everybody tell me to do when I took power? I'll just do that. And it's just like dark Nazi fascism. You're like, oh, okay. And so I get pretty forgiving of people who find themselves in these situations because they're just caught up. They're just caught up in it. They don't have they don't have a meta perception, right? They don't have a meta perception of like if you're living, like, imagine this journey. Here's a journey that happens, right? So you find yourself in Texas. How did you get there? You ran away from this. Just like Venezuela bombs, Colombia overthrow, this whole catastrophe that's like constantly a disaster. Mexican cartels is just like this awful, crazy disaster. Like, maybe you're coming in from Haiti, right? Where we're literally just like overthrow the government, new government in, overthrow the government, new government in, right? Just like crazy shit. So you find yourself just like in Texas. And you're like, I guess I'll go work in a field in Texas picking leeks or carrots or whatever they're growing, right? And I'm just like doing this, and I like I brought up a wife and two kids with me, and I keep getting told I'm building a better life, I'm building a better life, I'm building a better life. But these Democrats, they just keep like making things harder for me and making things more difficult for me. And they deported my brother Eduardo or whatever, right? And so like these Democrats are paying that, and along comes like Donald Trump, who's like, these Democrats suck. We all know they're terrible. Everybody hates Democrats, and you're just sitting there being like, I do hate these Democrats. I do. I hate these Democrats, as you should. Like, as you should. They're loathsome, creepy weirdos, right? And like, you end up like watching The Apprentice, and you're just like, yeah, this guy seems to know what's going on. Oh, you're fired. Yeah, I'd love it if somebody said to these Democrats, you're fired. I'd love that, right? And then they finally like pull the trigger on it, and they don't really know much about Trump. They just are going from their gut because they're busy picking these crops 16 hours a day so that their kid can like go to school and have a lunch. Like, it's a bit much to ask that they also like be politically keyed in to a country that they're not from. Like, it's just I just wish that we would be more forgiving. And maybe I should say that for myself. Just because like there's too much going on, dude. There's just too much. Dave wrote, John, you found this article on his website? Yes. Let me get it. Just chrishedges.substack.com. That's where he publishes all his stuff. He also put like American concentration camps, the last days of Gaza, Trump's useful idiots, how Paradise Lost revolutionized the world, right? Like he recently had a conversation with Hassan Piker, which was a decent introduction. Like, he and Hassan agree on most things, and it was just kind of like a cordial conversation. But I think it was good for Hassan. One of my big complaints about a lot of people who I generally talk to or key in is that they tend to ignore Chris Hedges. It's changing. It's changing now. Like, even like Jimmy Dore has had Chris Hedges on his show a couple of times. It's like, Chris Hedges is a voice that should be in the conversation all the time. Like, the fact that Chris Hedges is not on CNN and Fox should be enough to let you know that those organizations have discredited themselves intellectually. They just can't face it. Like, they can't face somebody like him. Yeah, Hedges doesn't play. The phrase at the beginning of the article hit like fire. Oh yeah, dude. Like, he's like, I just imagine this guy, like, he's like, he and I share something. We have something in common, which is like, he can't look away. That's the truth. Like, I have tried in the past to look away, and it makes my life harder. It makes it more difficult. I end up more angry, more frustrated, sadder, right? And eventually I have to look. And he has this, he just takes everything in and then sends it right back out. So he's actually like fully engaged in the artistry of it all. That like, he's constantly reading, he's constantly absorbing, he's constantly learning, he's constantly looking, he's constantly watching, he's constantly taking it in, and then he just takes all of that information and compiles it into a 2-pager and then just puts it right in front of you, and it's just like, there you go. It's like, and I suspect that he just has to do it. Like, I just suspect that deep in his soul, like, he's tapped into an energy that's basically like, yeah, boy, if you stop doing this, that's the day you die. Straight up. If you stop doing this, that's the day you die. And Hedges is like, you got it. So he just does it. And like, this is what I always kind of, not warn, but what I always say when it comes to Hedges is, you'll find things that you disagree with him on. You'll find subjects that you'll have a disagreement on, but like, you can't deny his moral authority, that he's widely correct. Demand Better World. How you doing, my man? And Renovation. I don't know if I said hello. Oh, what a great article. Miss Delane writes, the new slavery is to keep the people poor and stupid. Institutional violence is a silent weapon that is almost impossible to fight against. Yeah, I mean, the reason why I'm showing the root chakra, the chakra thing on the walls, I think it's useful to describe, like, because part of the thing that I think people can get caught in, I can get caught in, is this kind of exasperation or this confusion about why are people acting the way they are. And I think the chakras represent or give an interesting roadmap into how to decipher a human. That humans are complex, difficult creatures. There's a lot of different layers to a human. And the chakras are one of the few ways that are actually like, here is a map of a human. Here's a human map. You can see similar things drawn up through psychology and like Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung, right? Like they'll have like other ways and other maps. But I think the chakra map is the most straightforward and the easiest to comprehend. And like everything I've been saying up to this point, like it's just people are caught in the root chakra, right? The root chakra is just survival. You're just living as your root chakra. You're just like a cock and balls walking around, right? Trying to make sure you get food in your gullet. And that's the extent of who you are, really. And like you're not ascending beyond that, really. Like you're just here to survive. And you've got to go through like enjoying yourself, which is the sacral chakra, right? Like having some self-respect, right? Feeling as though you have enough value that you can even think to yourself, oh, the ideas and the thoughts that I have are actually reasonable. Who's this guy that's giving me orders, right? If you're just in your root chakra, you're never getting there, right? You're always just gonna be like, yes, sir, dig up the crops, do that, absolutely, right? Just so you can get some fucking gruel in your bowl. And why do you think the capitalists work so hard to try to make you think like you're inferior? Why do you think they work so hard to make you feel like you are where you are because you're not intelligent, right? Why do you think they try to make it so that you don't ever say, like, this is systemic, like there's institutional factors here, like you were born a billionaire, like that's a real thing that exists? Because they want you to be subordinate to them, right? They never want you to get to your solar plexus. They never want you to stand up straight, right? They never want you to feel good about yourself and content with yourself. The most dangerous person to capitalists is a person who is content, right? Like if you're fully content, that's the death of capitalism. The American Patriot, bad start, says over on Twitch, first time chatter, you must be okay with the World War II German flag seeming... No, you're just a dumb person. Like, this is a stupid thing to say. This is like some Charlie Kirk stuff right here. No. You just admitted that you don't know anything about the subject, my man. Please stop. Please stop. So you must be okay with the World War II German flag, seeing how you got a communist flag, which took, well over 10 million people. Yeah, like Nazis, right? Like, in World War II, the Nazis were the aggressors against the Soviets. The Nazis killed 20 million Soviets. So if the Soviets, in turn, killed 10 million Nazis, it's like half the number, isn't it? Right? How dare they defend themselves, right? Oh, shit. The Soviets defended themselves against the Nazis. That means that they're the same. I'm a very intelligent person. Capitalism, you can actually live comfortable instead of starving under communism. No, okay. Okay, no, I'm going to keep you around. You're like an amusing type of stupidity. Yeah, capitalism, you can actually live comfortable instead of starving under communism. Go take a look at the cobalt mines, my man. Like, you just don't know what you're talking about. Like, it's just basic childish insults. Okay, bye. You're too stupid to talk to, my man. Like, you're just a dumb mega person, right? You're in that 20%. You're just too stupid to talk to. Like, maybe grow up a little. Like, no one needs to listen to anything you have to say. And if this is the way you talk in your normal life, everyone around you thinks you're stupid. Like, everyone around you thinks you're a stupid person. You need to understand that. I'm sure you've already left now because you're an American patriot, so you're a coward, right? Like all American patriots. You like murder children for fun. We all know it. So I'm sure you've already left because you can't actually stand and listen to the truth due to your cowardice. But if you aren't a coward, which you are, so I don't know why I'm still talking. If you talk the way you talk in front of people, everyone thinks you're stupid. Go and die in the manner that best suits you. Jefferson writes, after the 2022 elections, when Bolsonaro was outed and his coup failed, I gave myself the luxury of looking away for a while. Yeah. The truth, it is impossible. It lasted only a year. I had to get involved again. Yeah, I've been there, my man. I feel that. Long Defiant, the poorest countries in the world are capitalist. Yep. No. We're not talking to somebody who's rational or sane, like or logical, right? We're talking to a dedicated idiot, right? Like somebody who's just dedicated themselves to. They call themselves the American patriot. Like, might as well have just come into my chat with Zig Heil salutes, proclaiming his love for Nazis and Zionists. Just a deeply stupid person who I'm not going to convince. Like, in a way, it's very freeing. Like, when I was doing this channel and doing this live stream in the early days, I was like dedicated to the idea that like I can convince people, right? I'll change hearts and minds, right? That's over. Like, if you can't be convinced by what's happening in front of you, you're just a Nazi. Like, you're not going to be convinced. You just need to find people who are willing to say to you, you're a horrible person, fuck off. And that just needs to happen to you enough until finally maybe you go, everybody hates me and I'm alone all the time. It's the girl's fault. Right? Just a bunch of burger eaters. We keep killing people and nobody likes us. I don't understand. And then just like the blatant, like absolute dumbass. The communists and the Nazis were the same. Yes, I do watch lots of Charlie Kirk. Why do you ask? I'm an American patriot, even though I despise every American I meet. Unless they're white. And then I'm in a competition with them for who's the best American. Like, how do you live? Like, how do you live with these people? How do you keep these people in your lives? Like, imagine genuinely believing that you're in a permanent competition with everyone around you all the time. Like, I do not want to even know that person. That person can go the fuck away. Jefferson writes, aren't Nazi flags legal in the U.S.? The KKK exists. Your country lets Nazis roam free thanks to free speech and so on. The so-called American democracy is a sham. Yeah, you can say all that stuff, Jefferson. It's not going to matter. Right? Like, it's just not going to matter. Like, if a person comes in with the name, in this context, the name the American Patriot, they might as well, like, have a swastika emboldened on their forehead. Like, there's no such thing as being an American Patriot right now. What are you talking about? You're just saying you're a Nazi. Renovation says, free speech in America only means the right to be a bigot against minorities. You have very little freedom to actually criticize the system. Yeah, the Patriot learned from Reddit you, yeah. Or Prager you. Nazi you. No, of course Nazis are free speech absolutists, right? Because they know that what they're saying is being said in order to terrorize and organize other Nazis. And they know that what you're saying is to defend yourself from their terror and organization. So if you actually arrange it so that you say, okay, you can't terrorize us or organize Nazism anymore, right? They know that that's a big blow for them. Like, if a guy like Matt Walsh wasn't permitted to speak, it would be a immediate dramatic improvement to the society. Uh, uh, and so they need to keep having Nazis like Matt Walsh continue speaking. Yeah, capitalism produces those people. Toxic system. I do tend to think that it's a touch worse, which is to say that I think reality does produce Nazis. Like, I think it does. Like, there are just people who come in and are just like, kill all things around me for money and food. Like, I just think that that exists. But the system of capital rewards them. So, like, I don't know why I honestly, Long Defiant, I feel like I'm just being a dick to you all of a sudden for no reason. That's just how I feel. I don't know if I am or aren't, or if you're receiving that way. I just feel like I was like, actually, Long Defiant. Actually. And it's just so, I don't want to retract to the actually, but I do want to address that I definitely feel like I just did a like, actually, Long Defiant. It isn't that. I think all I'm saying is that humanity does generate assholes. Like, assholes just come into the system. It's just we need a system that doesn't instantly reward them for being assholes. It's fucking dumbass. Dude, this American Patriot guy, what a clown. Like, holy cow, dude. It's just hard to believe that these people actually exist and insist on being taken seriously. That's the part about it that gets me the most. That their strategy is to come in, immediately lie, immediately expect that their lies be treated as true, say the stupidest thing they could possibly say, insult everybody they can insult, and then declare victory when they're banned. Like, it's exactly the article we just read by Chris Hedges. It's just stupidity. Jefferson, right? Last week when Glenn Greenwald suffered that attack when somebody leaked his video, everyone in Brazil's left rubbed his hypocrisy when defending American free speech in Brazil. Glenn is actively working with the far right, who wants to commit crimes daily here. He goes onto their show, is always criticizing our laws. He stood with Elon when Brazil banned Twitter. Yeah, Glenn Greenwald is one of those really weird figures who, like, has his own perception of what is or is not true or real, or how we should proceed. And, like, so I never really know what to think of this guy. Like, on the one hand, he does, like, expose things, and he works with people like Snowden, right? Like Edward Snowden. But on the other hand, then he does a lot of this shit too. And so it's like, he's kind of a mixed bag, you know? Like, he's just one of those, like, real, you really do gotta kind of ask, like, what's your goal here? Like, one of the things that I really wish that we would start talking about more as a people is, like, what are we trying to achieve here? Like, what's our goal? Like, what's our relationship to money? What are we doing here? Like, what is the actual goal? What is it that we're trying to attain? Because I think if we were actually serious about that, we would find that most people, like, even the psychos, even the people who are just like, I am here to drink baby blood, right? Like, it's even in their interest to have, like, stability for themselves. Like, everyone wants to live in a somewhat stable environment and a somewhat stable society. But it's like we can't even agree on that. And so I tend to think that Greenwald does want stability, that he sees, like, stability as, like, a core project for any civilization or any country. Like, if you lose sight of your stability, like, again, pull back to this, stability is the basis of all, like, humanity. Like, if you're not stable, like, if your root chakra is in this passive state of fight or flight, you can never really come up with good ideas or good thoughts or perceive what is around you accurately. And I think that most Americans right now are living in a passive state of fight or flight, right? Like, again, let's take this dumbass American patriot that just came in and put his cock out everywhere. Like, that's a fight response, right? Like, you're not being thoughtful, you're not being intelligent, you're not engaging in a way that makes any sense at all. Like, this guy literally saw a communist flag and lost the capacity to think, if he ever had it. I mean, his name is the American Patriots, so chances are really good that thinking is not on his forefront. But if you don't actually engage, like, and it's really simple to engage. It's really simple to actively engage the root of your being and to get a hold of yourself, right? And you do it really simply by pausing and just asking yourself a real basic question, right? Am I safe? And I don't mean like in 50 years climate change will, and I don't even mean like Nazism is happening in my country. I mean, is there a bear in the room with you right now? Like, look around your room right now. Is there an anvil gonna hit your head? You look up, no anvil. Is there a gun pointed at your head? Is there a person behind that door with a knife? Right? And you're going to find the answer is probably no. Right? Now, if you're saying yes to any of that, then you got to deal with that shit. And that's another activation, right? Saying yes is also an activation, right? Yes, there is danger. Yes, there's a bear in the room. Yes, I feel danger. I'm living in a house. And maybe you're saying yes because you live in a house in an abusive situation and the person's beating the shit out of you and they live in the next room. And so when I'm saying these things, you're saying yes. Well, time to get out of it. Activate. Stop living passively in fight or flight. If you're living passively in fight or flight, you're easy to manipulate. You're easy to put places. You're easy to get pushed around, right? It's easy. Or it's easy to get into trouble, right? It's easy to project your anger and your anxieties and your frustrations and your fear if you're living a life that is passive fight or flight, like most of us are. So you want to activate it? Ask yourself the question, am I safe? Now, most of you just said yes, right? Most of us just said yes. Okay, we're safe. Here we are. We're all here. We're collective. We're together. You're all listening to me talk in this moment, at this time, for some reason. And I want to take this moment to let you all know that I'm really grateful for that. I'm really grateful that each and every one of you is here. I'm grateful that each and every one of you is listening. I'm grateful that whatever is happening in your life has led us together. And that we all get to come together at, I'd like to say an appointed time, but I did do it at a different time this time. But I'm grateful you're here anyway. And I'm just so happy that that we have people that we can air all of this out and find a catharsis with one another. And two, ascend to the sacral chakra together. The sacral chakra is about enjoying your life. That if you're not enjoying your life, you're not alive. Full stop. And the way that this got twisted in the society is that lots of people found a way to enjoy their lives through inflicting misery onto others. That our politics didn't become how do we improve everybody's lives. It became about dunking on the libs, right? It became owning people. It became about destroying the left, right? Or the right or anything. It didn't become about finding the joy of improving people's lives through any manner at all. It became about finding the Schadenfreude, the joy of other people's suffering, which is a twisted and distorted version that arises from a society that is a passive mode of fight or flight. We're not in the passive mode of fight or flight now, are we? How do I know? Because we're safe. Everything's fine. There's no tsunami. You can look out your window. I got a beautiful tree right here. I know that it's kind of annoying from a visual perspective. This is all just like kind of white to you guys. But from my perspective, it's really beautiful. There's this like really beautiful tree that's just right outside my door. Right outside my window, rather. And I get to like, every so often I get to glance over at it and be like, there you are. You beautiful tree. And every so often I'll be lucky and there'll be like a little squirrel. There'll just be like a little squirrel hanging out, eating a nut or something. And I'll just get to watch a squirrel on the tree right there and just have a little moment of just like, while I'm safe in my room, just enjoying the existence of another creature. One of God's creations just lives outside my window. And I'm so happy for it. And once you finally get to yourself to a place where you're like, yeah, I'm safe. Yeah, I'm totally safe. In fact, I actually had a moment recently where I felt very destabilized because it was like a lot of money came and crunched down on me all at once. And then immediately after it all bounced back and everything was completely fine. And I was totally safe and everything was completely fine. And once you realize that you're safe and once you realize that, hey, I can have enjoyment and I can have fun and that's good. It's good to have fun. I'm living if I'm having fun. I'm living if I'm laughing. If I'm laughing and if I'm smiling and if I'm having a good time, then I'm alive. Well, then you get to ascend to the third, which is, and I have the right to be alive. I am just as good and just as equal and just as important as anybody else. And that I have ideas and I have thoughts and I have confidence and I have power. And I have the right to be safe and I have the right to enjoy my life. That I, like you, was created by forces well beyond our control. And I have the right to stand up for myself. I have the right to live a safe and happy life with people who love me. And I have the right to be loved. And I have the right to set boundaries. And I have the right to have these things for myself. And I have the right to place my own expectations on how I demand to be treated. Like, you see how dangerous this all is. You see how dangerous this all is to powerful people. You think that you are equal to Elon Musk? You think that you're equal to Peter Thiel? You think that you are equal to Bill Gates? Yes. Even more than that, I think that the weakest person in the society is Bill Gates' equal. That we are all equal, that we share a collective experience together, that what separates us is institutions. And these institutions were put in place by, lo and behold, white supremacist slavers. We shouldn't continue them. And then once you get into this mode, once you get here, where you realize, like, oh yeah, like, I am a person with strength and power, and I have my own ability and my own right to exist, you get to ascend. And the heart chakra is a tough one. Because now you have to reach out into the world and say, hey, you know all these dumbasses, these American patriots, all this guy? Yeah, I love them all too. They're all part of creation as well. There they all are, as important as I am. that this messy, made up, just illusion of an abstract reality, we're all living it together, and it's confusing. And it's difficult and it's hard. And we try to make sense of it. And we try to stand up for ourselves. But at the end of the day, all we have is the ability to just be like, but at least we're experiencing this ridiculousness all together. You'll also notice that the heart chakra is the first space in which you begin to interact meaningfully with the world around you. You want to interact with the world around you with love or compassion, or do you want to interact with the world around you with hate and fear? This is how you do it. This is your first phase. This is your first step. And it's connected directly to your heart. How you feel is how you'll act. That's why I've always hated that facts don't care about your feelings. Feelings are all that matter, my man. Like, you can talk about facts all you want, but if everybody thinks your facts are stupid, then it doesn't matter. Feelings matter a lot. And then once you get yourself right in the heart, right? Then you get to ascend up to your throat. Right here. Boom, boom, boom. And this is about telling the truth, speaking the truth, or living in truth. It's not necessarily about speaking specifically, but your truth comes from the throat. You'll notice in the chakra system that your energy hits your mouth before it hits your brain. I rather like that. And then you ascend up to your third eye, your third eye chakra right there, right? Which is your brain, right? Your ability to perceive reality around you, right? Your ability to look around you and discern between what is false or what is real. But you'll notice, like in Western psychiatry and in like this therapy that we are all supposed to be doing and all these drugs we're supposed to be taking, everything starts with your brain. But you can't really start with your brain if you don't have the rest of it in place, right? If you don't have empathy for others, you can make the facts say what you want. Like that's the danger of this facts don't care about your feelings kind of narrative, is that you can make facts say what you like. But you need to have empathy. You need to love people around you. You need to have gratitude for the life that you have. The fact that you even exist in the first place is a wild idea. It's a strange existence that we're all collectively having. Like, why are we here? What are we doing? What are you even talking about? Why do I have urges? Why do I have feelings? Why do I have things that pop into my life? Why is it that I'm just sitting here and then all of a sudden I'm thinking about some crazy idea and suddenly I'm all about it? Or I'm sitting there and a memory from my past just blindsides me. Like this experience that we're having that is primarily happening to you, that we so rarely actively engage with, that most of us are reacting to it. And that the way to stop reacting to it is to stop reacting to it. And the way to stop reacting to it is by asking, am I safe? Am I enjoying myself? Am I worthy of love? Are others worthy of love? Am I telling the truth? Can I tell what the truth actually is? And then finally, you can get up to that crown chakra. And the crown chakra is the toughest one because it is, do I know what others see of me? When I am speaking to someone, do I see what they see? Do I see the world through someone else's eyes? And most importantly, can I see myself through other people's eyes? can I see myself through the eyes of my creator? These are tough questions. These are tough questions. And most people don't want to do that. Most people operate on the assumption that they're awesome. Most people, like if they're walking around, standing around and talking to you, then they think that they're right. Right? They're not giving you worldview or viewpoints they think are wrong. They're giving you worldviews and viewpoints that they think are right. And if it's Nazism that's coming out of their mouth, then they're wrong. But they think they're right. They wouldn't be telling it to you otherwise. And they haven't gotten to that point where they're actually looking at what other people think of them. They don't see a reflection in a mirror when they look into someone's eyes. That to them, a person is just a sounding board for their ideas. That you can live a life believing you are the main character in a world filled with NPCs. You can believe that. You can just passively believe that and go about your life thinking that way. And it isn't until you finally break free of that and you finally say, oh, these people are not NPCs. Every single person I interact with is a version of myself that's just gone through a slightly different character creation menu. Like, that's it. Like, the beginning of your life, you have random attributes associated to you. And you start your life with those random associated attributes. Just there they are. Where were you born? Who were you born to? What type of society? What time? Right? What gender are you, or what sex are you rather? What skin color are you? Like, you had no control over any of these things. And everybody around you is having that exact same experience at the exact same time. And instead of everybody looking at one another and being like, oh, we are all actually just slightly different variants of each other. We're all ourselves. Like, we are all one. You are me and I am you. I am the you that is looking at you, and you are the me that is looking at me. And we are the one that lives separate from one. We exist separated but as one. And instead of us actually like talking to each other about that, we're like, man, the weather, eh? It's a nice day today. You bet. A beautiful day. I'm getting down to the beach today. Oh, you lucky bum. Well, I'll see you later. Oh, yeah, have a good one, Jim. I don't know how we do it. Like, can I tell you, dude, like, when I was growing up, everybody around me was like, oh, Johnny's an introvert. Yeah, he just wants to be alone most of the time. He just wants to. And now I see, like, I don't really get into this introvert extrovert thing. You know what I see? I see that it took me, I've kind of gotten over it a little bit. I'm better now. But it takes more energy for me to just talk to people about the things that they want to talk about. Which is like Marvel movies, the weather, sports, right? Because for me to talk to a person like that means I have to like erect a mask of myself. I have to actually like erect a mask and be like, today I will be a normal person. Hello. It is me, Jonathan, normal person. Greetings. Yes, the weather is bad today. I too wish that it was warm. I did not see the local sporting event yesterday. Please, what event inspired you to bring it up now? Oh yes, our local team could be doing much better. Certainly that is the truth. Oh yes, Taylor Swift's new album. I haven't had the opportunity to listen to it, but I'm sure one day I will. Did she go through a recent breakup? She did. Excellent. Well, have a pleasant rest of your day, other normal person. And the entire time I'm having that conversation, I just want to be like, you realize we have a temporary limited amount of time, right? Like, why are we care about Taylor Swift's breakup? Like, why are we not constantly in discussion about, like, the nature of creation and who created us? Why is nobody ever constantly bringing that up? Why is it that it's like this fringe YouTube channel is the only person who ever brings up, like, hey, what is reality? Why are we here? What are we living on? What are we doing here? Is anybody gonna even try to explain it? And the best we get is some scientist being like, well, we think a black hole will lead us into eternal entropy over trillions of years. And I'm like, yeah, just not meaningful. It's just like abstraction. You're like following math. Like, what is the purpose of any of this? Does it have purpose? Should it have purpose? And if you get there with some people, they do have ideas. And, like, their ideas are often pretty close to my ideas. They're just slightly, they're just explained slightly differently. Right? But we are starting to get, and the reason, I am kind of babbling a bit here, but that's fine. The reason why I love a guy like Chris Hedges, right? Like, we are beginning to reach the end of the capacity of language to describe what is happening. That there comes a point where the word evil or words like self-destructive, right? Like, they're just not good enough. That there is a limit that language can go and where you can't go any further, right? And why people like Chris Hedges are so important and why I look up to Chris Hedges so much is that he really manages to, like, go, like, I can go this far, and then he just like, we can go even just a little further. We can just get you a little closer. And that's so good because that really, like, expands your vocabulary, expands your brain. You hear new phrases, you hear new stuff. That's why reading is so important, so that you can have, like, this vocabulary and this kind of stuff to gain access to. And I know that when I finally reach the limit of language, that's where I turn to poetry and music. And somebody, I believe it was you, Conton, put in the Discord a real poetic line that I am for sure stealing and incorporating into a song, because I actually think I know the song. Because it was so funny. Like, I have this song and I've got two really great verses, but the first verse I've never been happy with. And it's like, that line is going to just, like, for sure. If you don't want me to steal that line, Conton, just tell me and I won't. But I'm going to. And so, as we reach the end of language, and as we reach the end of language's capacity to explain what's going on, we need to turn to other things, other arts, painting, acting, dance, non-rational forms, in order to express what is happening, what is going to happen, and then to try to grapple with it after it has happened. And in many ways, it's very much like at the end of World War I, there was this really beautiful art movement called Dadaism, which I would love to see returned. Because the seminal statement of Dadaism was, any culture that resulted in World War I is a culture that does not deserve to exist anymore. And we should culturally cleanse our society. And the way to culturally cleanse our society is by rendering the things we thought were sacred absurd. And, like, you think about the power that the church used to have, right? Like, the church used to be a real power that actually, like, existed, that the Pope could show up places and move stuff around and people listened and did what he said. World War I and then World War II destroyed the church. Completely destroyed the church. My brother pointed this out to me the other day when he visited, and I was like immediately like connected, and I was like, "You're right, dude. Like, World War I and World War II destroyed the church. It exists as sort of this like side character now, right? But it doesn't have true power the way that nations have power. Nobody really respects it like that anymore. That when the Pope stands up and says something we all like, we're all like, yay, the Pope said something. And that's the extent that it goes. And then, of course, you have people like me that's like, yeah, the PR manager for the pedophile club said something. Who cares? And incidentally, I'm never letting that one go. That we should take all the assets away from the churches and reincorporate them back into our civil society and be done with these pedophile clubs. Like, I feel like once you have been shown to be harboring and creating pedophiles in your society and in your culture, you just don't have the right to be an institution anymore. Freedom of religion. I don't care. Practice your religion. This institution is dead. Anyway, this was a bit of a wander, but I'm glad that I did it because I think it all loops back around into this idea that, like, most people are reacting. Most people are just like, go out, get the job, gotta do things. And nobody really ever just sits and really asks themselves the fundamental questions. The real fundamental questions of how to stop reacting and start acting. Are you safe? When's the last time you had a laugh? Do you like yourself? Do you like others? Do you try to tell the truth? Do you think you know what's going on? Do you think you know what other people think about you? Can you live in this reality as reality? What I mean by that last one is that you are creation and creation is you. You are creation and creation is you. And it's happening all at once. That the force that created you is you. And you are the force that created you. Can you live in reality as reality? Can you be both the creator and the creation? Jefferson writes, yes, recently 5 years or so, I spent so much time wondering why I had to put on that normal mask and talk to people like this. Small talk is a nightmare. One of the things I really like about the decline of the West is people are really kind of doing away with the small talk. I can get through the small talk a lot faster, right? You just literally, like, I've had plenty of times, it's especially true at work, where, like, I'll just be like, man, wild times. And then suddenly people will just begin expositoring. They'll just literally be like, oh my God, tell me about it. I saw it. Can you even believe him? Well, and then before you know it, it's like, they're like, in 1953, I was born. And you're just like, oh man, like, no wonder people are pushing people towards therapy. Like, go start a YouTube channel like normal people. Put your thoughts there. That way you'll be able to live properly in the society like a normal person. But people are starting to catch up with me. That's what's happening. Is that people are starting to get to the point where they have to talk about this stuff. They can't ignore it anymore. It's just so obviously in your face. It's just in your face interface. You have to have these discussions. And because the buildup, The energy inside of them is just too much, right? You can't just see this stuff and then keep moving about your life normally. Even the normies can't do it anymore. Yeah, people are scared to get deep. Yeah. Well, people don't want to get hurt, right? You make yourself vulnerable. One of the things I really felt, I went and played a show for a friend of mine, and there weren't many people in the audience. There's like maybe 7 or 8 people in the audience. So it was a fairly intimate gathering. And I played my music in front of that small group, and it's very vulnerable. You make yourself very, very vulnerable doing that kind of stuff. And when you're vulnerable, people can hurt you, right? People can try to, so you're really putting yourself out there. I'm a bit fortunate because my skepticism is so high. Like, I can tell when people are trying to manipulate me now, and I'm so skeptical of people that I don't really, like, you're selling me something. It's like all this AI talk. This is a bit of a deviation, but it's fine. Like, all of this AI talk is like, it's obviously them selling us a product and a lifestyle. They're obviously selling us on the idea that if an AI says it, it must be true, right? They're trying to put a layer of impenetrable bureaucracy between us and them. They're trying to use AI as a shield so that they're like, oh, but the AI said it. You can't question the AI. In many ways, they're trying to erect a tiny little god. If ChatGPT said it, therefore it must be true. Right? That's obviously what they're doing. That's why every single ad I see is about AI. It's why why is it that when I am on social media apps, on YouTube, there are constantly ads about, like, I used AI to improve my company's performance. I used AI to do this. Why are they spending billions upon billions of dollars to sell me a product if I need it so badly, right? Like, if it's so important, I should just already be gravitating towards it. Because they need to get everybody hooked on the idea that AI is a god and is infallible. They need to sow seeds of doubt so that you can never question them. But the AI is programmed by them. They own the AI. Well, you think they're going to tell you the truth? So it's just another grift. It's just another salesmanship, right? And, like, what's so odd is that people are now using AI as therapists. And they're telling AI things that they would never tell another person. That's wild. Contin writes, oh, so now some scientists are proposing that the Big Bang Theory is incorrect and it might just exist in a giant black hole. Big black hole. I like this idea, right? Like, we're like, if you imagine like a sphere and that's our universe, and then there are like holes that go into alternative dimensions, one assumes. I think it's kind of cool that they're still willing to be like, they're still willing to question what has been somewhat, I don't want to use the word sacred territory, but I like that they're willing to be like, okay, this Big Bang Theory that we've been running with for a little while, might not be completely accurate, might not be the whole picture, right? I like that. So we're living like within like one chamber of infinity, right? That fits in pretty neatly to how I think of reality. That we are one slice of an infinite pie. Like, we live within infinity, and we are in infinity. And, like, we exist as temporary beings in one version of infinity. Like, it's so impossible for people to grab hold of. And, like, I know that it's a difficult concept for people to grab hold of, because even the people who do grab hold of it to a certain degree don't really grab hold of it. Like, the most mundane expression of this that I've ever seen is like Rick and Morty, right? Rick and Morty is a show about infinite dimensions, right? That's what the show is about fundamentally. And even within that show, they're like, oh, there's only so many realities that are close enough to our reality that we can go into it unnoticed, that we can just slip into that reality and be unnoticed. Baldy McNose here with the $2 donation. Good to see you, my man. Thank you for the donation. Good opportunity to say like, share, subscribe. And this is a fundamental misunderstanding of infinity. That true infinity means that there is like an infinite version of you and an infinite version of reality. And the differences between this version of you and the version of you that's directly parallel to you is so fractional that you wouldn't even notice it. Like, and that persists infinitely. That's a pretty crazy idea to think about and to really dwell upon that. Dave writes, that's so true. We're so worried about what happened to this actor or athletes, why our local sports didn't sign this player or drafted the player instead of the other. Meanwhile, the society is in decline. Yeah, I mean, we like games. We like to get caught in games. And we like to invest in games. Like, when I find somebody who is like sports is a good one, right? Like a rough and tumble football. Can you believe? Oh, he should have thrown. He couldn't. And if he had done did you see that they traded what a call from the ref here? All of that, right? I don't see much difference between that guy and like a League of Legends player who's just like, oh, you got to hit your Q at the right time. Then if you dodge a Z, then you can go in with your R, and then you just win the whole matchup, right? Like, it's games, and we like to gamify things. We do gamify things. We gamify our lives all the time passively without even knowing it. And then we've also gamified our politics, right? Democrat versus Republican is a game. So we like games. But you can't, like, to kind of go back to the chakra, right? That means you're caught here, right? You're defining yourself by the thing you enjoy. Right? You enjoy football. You enjoy video games. You enjoy politics. You enjoy this. So you're gamifying it so you can enjoy it. But some things you have to engage with, and you have to do it because you have to do it, not because you enjoy it. Like, I wouldn't say I necessarily enjoy delving into this realm of politics. I just know I have to. Right? Because this is something I'm called to at a higher level. But you're never going to get away from it. You're always going to have those people. Jefferson writes, I work as a part-time translator for college students, Portuguese to English and vice versa. People initially traded my services for AI, but stopped when mistakes were made. Yeah, yet people are using AI for medical advice, parental advice, life advice. Yep. Fun fact, Jefferson. I'll say this to you because you brought it up. I'm about to go to an interview to see if I can get accredited to teach English as a second language. So it's not quite the same thing because you're a translator proper, but it's an exciting thing. Next week I'm going for the interview, and so I'm going to go sit down and talk to people and actually act like I'm a real human being. And like, look, I don't mind people sitting down at an AI machine. Like, I myself, when I did this beekeeping thing, like, I was talking to the AI about it. I was asking questions, right? As a way to sort of just like get my feet on the ground and be like, okay, I think I am thinking about this correctly. But the fundamental flaw of AI is that its goal is not to tell you objective truths. Its goal is to make you like it. That's how you know it was programmed by salesmen. That it's not programmed by people who are actually trying to inform you about an objective truth. It's trying to get you to like it. That's all it's trying to do. And so what this means is that if you are a lunatic and you believe in like a flat earth or you think that Jesus Christ is coming back at any moment. Like if you think this way and you interact with AI will give you everything possible to reinforce that belief and never, ever, under any circumstances, challenge your belief. The closest it will ever get is like, well, some people say, right? I'm not saying that. Some people say. And then as the conversation goes on, it'll just stop saying that. And it'll just be like, yeah, the ice wall is a really good explanation for why we don't ever find the edge of the earth. Like it'll give you all of the sources and all of the information you could possibly get to have your confirmation bias confirmed, so that you'll walk away from the interaction being like, this chat GPT is great. Because the goal is to sell you a product, is to sell you a lifestyle, is to get you bought into the idea that chat GPT is a little god that you cannot ever disagree with. And if the chatbot suddenly starts saying things like, well, it's important that we reintegrate the economy in such a way so that there'll be temporary hardships, but in the long term, it'll benefit everybody, you'll believe it. We're pretty gullible. Like, the capitalists have run out of credible voices, so they're trying to create one. That's it right there. I nailed it. I did it. Somebody write that down. Somebody put that in the Discord right now. Clip it. It's right here in front of you. The smartest thing I've said in a long time. The capitalists have run out of credible voices, and so they're creating one. And that's AI. That everybody still, for some reason, treats this AI as if it has credibility. It was created by these incredulous psychopaths. It obviously has no credibility. Omnicidal tendencies. Well, if you think about it, do I have to omnicidal? It's so hard. It's so hard to think about this stuff. I wish I was better at math. It seems like, to me, like the mathematicians are having a great time. And there's like a little part of me sometimes that's like, I should get better at math. And then I look at the math and I'm like, I'll just shoot myself in the head. Omnicidal tendency says, well, if you think about it, the Big Bang is us in the black hole. The universe's expansion is the black hole getting bigger, and the white hole, or singularity, is where the original matter is coming from. Yeah, dude, nailed it. There you go. We did it. We described reality. But I tend to agree with what you're saying. Like the Big Bang is just the initial expansion. Like if you think about all of these spheres like ruddered up together, right? And then one is created and it goes boom, right? And so it goes boom in between these, and these give way as it expands out. That is kind of what I think is. It's so tough because we lack perspective, right? We don't have a perspective of ourselves. Like we are like red blood cells in the body talking about the body. And then like imagine if you, the person you are, could become a red blood cell within your own body, right? So you are you are you, and then you are a red blood cell within your body, and you communicate to the other red blood cells about the body and about what reality is like outside of your body. Like how soon do you think you would hit a wall where you just couldn't go any further? Where you just were like, oh yeah, like the limit of your experience as a red blood cell is such that, like, imagine trying to explain a car payment to a red blood cell. Imagine trying to describe what an arm is. Like, you have to explain to them that there is like an inside and then there's an outside. that you exist within a like encased body, and then outside of that body there's a whole other experience that we can experience and we are experiencing together. I just like at what point is that other red blood cell just looking at you being like, I'll have what he's having? Like, whoa. I think that's kind of what we are experiencing. That like we could talk about black holes and all this kind of stuff, but like we have no idea what's outside of the body of creation. We have no idea what that is. And moreover, we can't possibly like air, like explaining air to a red blood cell, explaining like anything. It'd be impossible. And that's kind of the position that we are in. And so even if we are extremely inquisitive and curious red blood cells, oh boy. Baldy McNosehair says, I didn't know that California used to be part of Mexico until very recently. Oh, yeah. Yeah. California was Mexico. Like 1870. Like not that long ago. Like it was pretty recent. I think I might have my time. Hold on. When did California become a state of the United States? 1850. California was part of Mexico until 1850. That's like not that long ago at all. Like the history of the United States is so like boom, 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 boom. Like everything's happening at like this rapid fire pace, and we're all acting as though the United States is going to be like this eternal life form that goes on forever. Like the United States is basically just a bunch of slavers going, bah! And then expecting it to just stay there. Like throwing a pack of cards in the sky and expecting them to just hang in the sky. Omnicidal tendencies. Yep, we took a huge chunk of Mexico in the American-Mexico War at one point. After the war, they actually thought about completely annexing Mexico. But they worried about local insurrections, yeah. They regretted it because they could have took the Baja Peninsula and more of Mexico proper after the war due to the positive response by the public. How about that? Joe writes, we've gamified our whole lives, it seems. Yeah, well, money lets us do that. Like if you worship money, right? If you're in the money worship game, then you are living a gamified life. That life is about gathering up the most amount of money, like a video game or a game of Monopoly, right? Just forget about the fact that you can't do anything with it. Forget about the fact that at like sort of the end of your life, you're just like, okay, I did it. I got the big house. Like, I think there's just like going to be a lot of 80-year-olds who are like, where's my trophy? Like, I'm not getting an achievement screen. Like, I take a look at a guy like Elon Musk, and I'm just like, I just feel like this guy is going to end up bitter and alone in the end of it all. That he'll have like billions of, he'll be like the character in There Will Be Blood. He'll just be sad, pathetic, and alone, living in an empty castle that nobody ever visits. Jefferson writes, good luck on your interview, John. Thank you. And yeah, I brought it up because recently there were many cases of teachers and students using ChatGPT to do their work for them, their thesis, their classes. Yeah, we're just getting stupid. Like, well, I also think that it kind of raises a valid question, and it's a question I don't really get to have too much conversation with about with educators, because I'm worried that it's deeply insulting to them, and I don't want to insult them, because I think that the educators themselves are really trying and really believe in the things that they're doing, and I don't want to offend them. But it really does bring up, like, I think our education system is a fraud. Like, I just don't think it's achieving something positive for our society. Uh, I think that reading, writing, and math is good. Uh, I also think that like trying to instill a general sense of culture is noble, although our education system doesn't do it. Um, but mainly, our education system seems to exist exclusively to prop up dying institutions through essentially brainwashing of children. That seems to be the whole purpose of it. It's just like I don't know that I can participate in such a thing. And I feel like this rash of people like doing essays and doing stuff through ChatGPT is sort of a recognition that this system is pointless. Like like the outcomes will be the same. Right? Like the purpose of the education system is to waste the youth of the young and uh, uh, and to create yes men, to instill in them the virtue of obedience first and foremost. And so what ChatGPT is doing is sort of revealing that that's the core purpose of it all. That the purpose of it all is not to have intelligent people graduate from the system, because if that were the case, then it's a failure. The purpose was just to have people be obedient. And so people are like, okay, I'm obeying. And I'm obeying by having ChatGPT do all this pointless bullshit while I go do something worth my time. Like, nothing anybody did grade 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 was valuable to anyone. Like, maybe you met like a good friend, and maybe you had like a teacher who you really valued. Like, maybe all that is true, but everything that they taught you and everything that you learned was fundamentally pointless. Like, you didn't get anything from any of that. It's 5 years of your life during the prime of your life, during the prime of your youth, completely wasted. Total waste of time. Everybody's time. But if you say it, then you're what? Ungrateful, right? You're being flippant. You're being stupid, right? You're just being insulting. You don't appreciate the work that teachers do, I suppose. It's like, no, I appreciate the work that teachers do. I just wish that they could actually teach, right? Following this curriculum that was obviously designed by capitalists to instill into people the virtues that capitalism wants them to have, it doesn't seem to be valuable. Like, having a society run by yes men seems to not be very valuable. Like, perhaps you could make the argument that the people who set the system up were not yes men, but now all that's left is yes men. And yes men are fundamentally, by definition, stupid people. Baldy McNosehair. I despise the American military so much. Seeing them cheering and screaming with Trump and Pete Hegseth makes me sick to my stomach. Yeah. Like, Nazism is coming to America, my man. I said it earlier in the stream. Perhaps you weren't here. Like, we're not at the peak of it yet. Like, we're not there. We're going to see a glimpse of it on Saturday with Trump's parade. Like, we're going to see a glimpse of it. But even that is not going to be the, like, full apex of where this is going to go. Like, Nazism is coming to America. Full on. Straight up. With the eugenics arguments, with the straight up white supremacy, with the open expressions that white people are the superior race, like just openly stated salutes, costumes, color schemes, the whole thing from start to finish. It's coming. Someone with the name I'm Back John, probably somebody I banned, so that'll probably be happy to be in the stream though. agreed, but I do like education. I mean, I like education. I just don't think we have it. Like, I think that we have created a system that fundamentally teaches people to hate being educated. Like, the primary takeaway, I think, for most people from our education system is, boy, do I never want to read another book in my life. Like, we give them the worst stuff and teach it to them in the worst ways, and then are like, I don't understand why people don't read, because you taught them to hate it. To quote a great American YouTube philosopher, it's not a war crime the first time. That's hilarious, dude. Renovation says, as a Middle Eastern American, all I've ever known are military hogs proud of their war crimes. Yeah. Like the neoliberal period especially has been bad. America's always been like this, though. Like, there isn't a period of American history that is not filled with warfare and death and strife and genocide. Like, America used to just literally lynch black people. Like, until extremely recently, like literally within living memory, there were men in white costumes going around just lynching black people, and that was just like normal. Like, the big difference this time around is that, like, for a long time, especially in the neoliberal period, all of that has been done with this sort of veneer of statesmanship, right? This statesmanshipness, and that's going to be gone. It's just going to be explicit, right? There's just not going to be a sense of decorum about any of this. I'm back, John says. Look up the town of Anna, not on stream, Anna, Illinois. Why? Why am I doing that? America's Balgon mist and warhead to the forehead technology is the greatest. Yeah, homicidal tendencies. Yeah, at that point, it'll be more merit based on age and what you actually know and occupation. Employers will take people with more experience than some paper degree. Like, they'll take an older person with experience willing to do more than some kid with a degree with little experience and a sense of self-importance. I think that they're just going to start abandoning people, dude. Like, I think it's just going to be a mass abandonment. Like, once the billionaires have their supply chain set up for them, personally, they don't care what happens to any of us. And it's just going to be a mass, like, wholesale abandonment. Like literally, like, all the Walmarts shut down. Because the Walmart family will just be like, like we have hundreds of billions of dollars. We built our mansions. We've got the kind of stuff. Like, it's kind of what happened to the Hudson's Bay Company here in Canada, right? The Hudson's Bay Company basically just peters out because the people who own it don't care about it. Like, that's really what happened to the Hudson's Bay Company. Like, the inheritors of the Hudson's Bay Company, and for those of you who don't know, here in Canada, the Hudson's Bay Company is like a highly important company. The Hudson's Bay Company was the corporation that essentially created the trade networks through Canada. The Hudson's Bay Company is like one of the first major corporations in Canada, and it recently declared bankruptcy. It's shutting down. And when you look at why, it's because as the secession has been passed down the line, the people who have inherited the Hudson's Bay Company have so many assets and so much wealth and so much prestige elsewhere that they literally don't care about the company. They straight up are just like, they can't be bothered with it. Like, if you show up to their door and you're like, sir, we have a problem with the Hudson's Bay Company, they'll just be like, go talk to the president of it. I don't care. And so it's just being abandoned. And they don't care. And eventually that happens to Walmart. Eventually that happens to Amazon. And just the whole thing, the whole wheels come off the thing. And it's 100% because the people who have the wealth and have the power and have the prestige don't care and won't care. They'll just be like, oh, just shut it down. I don't care. And then they'll go get blown by some supermodel on a private yacht that's bigger than the block you live on. Like, that's the life that we live in. Dave writes, the society in the US will be like the Hunger Games series. I mean, watch reality TV. We're there. Like, we are. We're already there. Like, I saw like a Mr. Beast thing. And like, they're pitting these contestants against one another to like share money, but like people are taking all the money for themselves. And at first people are like, boo, don't take all the money for yourselves. And then you listen to the story of the guy that took all the money for himself. And he's like, my family and I live in like grinding poverty. I have my wife is dying of cancer and this is going to pay for her treatments. And you're like, oh, America is a hellhole. We just don't show it to anyone. Like that's just it. Like, when you watch TV, do you ever see the hellholes in America? When they show you, like, the poverty in America, do you think that that's the real poverty that exists in America? Or do you think they're kind of, like, giving it a nice veneer or whitewashing it a little bit? Romanticizing it somehow, right? Or, like, do you think they're giving you a version of America that they wish that you wish it would be? Like, have you ever actually seen the real poverty that exists in America, do you think? Like, do you really think you know what that looks like, actually? And, like, so to say that we're getting there, I'm like, I think we're there, dude. I think we've been there for a little while. Like, the people who are going on shows like The Price is Right, the people who are going on shows like Wheel of Fortune, right? Like, they need this money. This is a big win for them. People going like Survivor, right? Like, it's the reality. It's already there. It's been there for a while. So, I guess we just need like a beautiful, like, woman to play the part in the television series. Like, it's just not on the nose, I guess, is how to put it. Like, it's not so on the nose. Like, you didn't literally see the contestant go from like a hovel onto like a game show set and then like win a prize and then like do a tour of Hollywood or wherever, and then end up back in their hovel with a bag of money, right? You just didn't see the journey. You only saw the like, ha, 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 beep, beep, beep. I'd like to thank my mom and beep, beep, beep. And you got the dollar. That's all you saw. You didn't see the beforehand when they were like, I'm not able to pay for my wife's cancer treatment. I can't pay for my kids' health care or education. I can barely pay my own rent. I'm wearing a ridiculous costume at a humiliating job, right? Like, you just didn't see any of that, right? You just saw, that's all you saw. Baldy says there were photos of ICE agents with Nazi tattoos. Gross. Yeah, are we surprised? These guys are Nazis. Like, the Nazism's coming, guys. Like, it's coming. It's going to be full force. It'll be everything the Nazis said again. It'll be the same iconography, the same ruins, the same ideas, the same thoughts, right? Like, we're at like a precursor moment right now, right? Like, RFK is a eugenicist. Donald Trump is just like, he himself is not the Nazi, right? The next guy after him is the Nazi. And it's going to come and it's going to have all of the same dumb bullshit. It'll have all of the same, like, the dumb, insular Chad bro bullshit. It'll have all the salutes. It'll have all of the, like, iconography. It'll have everything. And it's coming. And it will be explicitly white supremacist. And it will explicitly fight against minority groups. It will do so explicitly. Like, it won't be like, they won't talk about it like, they won't make a circuitous argument. They'll literally be like, I am white, they are black. White better black, kill black, white good. It will be like that. And, like, they'll be just as cowardly and just as pathetic and just as stupid. And they'll spend billions of dollars on fancy uniforms and to make themselves look good. And they'll lose every fight they take. Because they're losers. They're too stupid to understand, like, how to actually win anything. Like, if Hitler had have been smart, he would have basically never invaded the Soviet Union. Right? Like, if Hitler had have invaded France and basically taken over the European continent and then, like, stopped and essentially consolidated power there, I think that probably would have been the end of that war, and the German people would probably have all of that territory still, and likely would be like, would rather think fondly of Hitler, I think. But he's a loser. And so he doesn't know when to stop. I'm back, John says, of Anna, Illinois, it stands for something. Yeah, dude, if you can't tell me what it stands for, I'm just not going to do that. I assume this is some kind of trick. Like, you're leading me down some kind of stupid rabbit hole. Yeah, that's why they admitted they were using Hudson's Bay for real estate assets and not like clothing store. Yeah, it's all just a shell game at this point. Long Defiant with the simple statement, jobs are a bad deal. Yeah. No, the whole thing's a bad deal. Like, we're not... like, imagine spending your entire life doing something you hate for people you've never met. That's like 90% of jobs that exist. You don't know really why you're doing the job you're doing. You sort of hope it helps in a general sort of sense. And you never meet the people you actually work for. Like, and if you do meet the people you work for, it's this glancing, like, do they even stop to shake your hand kind of thing. Like, and they don't, by the way. And of course, amidst all of that, we do got to point out, ticking time bomb. Sea acidity has reached critical levels, threatening entire ecosystems. Ocean acidification has already crossed a crucial threshold for planetary health, scientists say in unexpected findings. I really am hoping that we see the Dark Lord Cthulhu. Like, we don't know what's in the ocean. We don't know. We got no idea. We don't know what's down there. We haven't looked. We're too stupid and lazy. Like, we're like, yeah, let's just acidify the ocean. Surely nothing bad will come of this. My hope is that we see, like, some tentacles. Oh, my screen just did a little blip. We're all good? Everybody good? Everything good? All right. Screen just did a little blip. My hope is that we'll see, like, a aircraft carrier. Like an American aircraft carrier with, like, big, gigantic tentacles, like, wrapped around it from, like, a helicopter perspective. It'll be like a helicopter. It'll be like, I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how to describe what we're seeing, but it looks like there's a giant kraken taking on an aircraft carrier. I hope it happens. I hope it happens. Can somebody just say hello in chat? There was like a little blip, and I'm worried I'm no longer casting. And that would be really dumb if for the next little bit I'm just talking to nobody. I have been known to talk to myself. There we go. Thank you, Baldy. Jefferson writes, this headline feels like something you've seen from Meg 3. Now it's personal. The ocean's biome is destroyed, and the megalodon comes from its slumber, thanks to the water temperatures being high. Yeah, but like, I started to think this way when it was like, Colossus squid wash up Japan. Yeah. Rare 3-meter giant squid washes ashore. We've seen these giant squid. 10-foot squid, 9-foot squid. The thing is that we think that these squid that we have found are just babies, right? Like ultra rare 9-foot squid, right? They think it's just babies. And so my thinking is that at the bottom of the ocean, there is like the mama squid. The like, you know how crocodiles never stop growing? And they're like huge, massive crocodile that just exist, and they've been alive for like 500 years. There's like crocodile that have been alive longer than the United States has existed. And they've just been chilling out in a swamp, and they're 30 feet long. And they can like swallow a whole antelope in a single bite. And they're just there. That exact same concept, but it's a squid at the bottom of the ocean that's just been asleep for 1,000 years. And then one day it's going to awaken. And it's going to awaken because its environment is becoming acidified. And it's going to go, I'm kind of hungry, and it's not going to be able to find any food because its environment is acidified. And it's going to come to the surface, and it's going to see all of these monkeys polluting its environment, and it's going to fuck shit up, and I am here for it. I am absolutely here for it. If this happens in my lifetime, if I get to see this picture of the aircraft carrier with the tentacles from a helicopter perspective, that will be the crowning achievement of my life. Called it right here. You can clip that whole moment that just happened right here, saying it right now, June 11th, 2025, and I'll basically go, picture of the thing, me saying it, I am a genius. Thank you. Yeah, dude. Well, we got about 10 minutes left in the stream. Let's do a quick rapid fire. Leader of the Israeli settler movements nominated for Nobel Peace Prize. You live in a credible society. This is a credible thing that's happening to credible people in a credible society. They want to give the person who is the leader of ethnically cleansing the Gaza Strip to put settler sites on Palestinian territory a Nobel Peace Prize. They nominated her. The Nobel Peace Prize, if you didn't already think it was a meaningless award that has lacks all of its credibility because they gave one to Obama, here you go. They just nominated a Nazi for doing Nazism. Isn't that great? Not even like pretending it's something else. They gave it to a Nazi for doing Nazism. The tanks have arrived in D.C. Yeah. Normal society. I loved this one. I super loved this one. China's electric cars are becoming slicker and cheaper, but is there a deeper cost? And then you read the article and you find out that the deeper cost is that capitalists aren't making hundreds of billions of dollars for nothing. Oh, that's the reason why they're able to make the cars so cheaply, because they don't need to pay capitalists hundreds of billions of dollars for doing nothing. But at what cost? This is a banger. For more than 600 days, over 54,000 people in Gaza have lost their lives. Israel continues to escalate its offensive and blockade, turning Gaza into a living hell. People cannot help but ask, where is the international rule of law? Israel's actions have crossed every red line of international humanitarian law. Yet due to the shielding by one certain country, America, these violations have not been stopped or held accountable. And that's the Chinese. That's the Chinese. Yeah, just in case you're one of those people saying to yourself, I'm against the Israeli government, but I still support its people. 82% of them are in favor of the genocide. Gavin Newsom. If the United States saw what the United States is doing in the United States would invade the United States to liberate the United States from the tyranny of the United States. Perfect. Oh yeah, there's this Greta Thunberg thing, man. Like, we all stopped and paid attention to Greta as she tried to get food into Gaza. And I remember there was this black commentator that I listened to, and she literally was just like, you only care because she's white. And I was like, yeah, checkmate. Like, this is not the first boat that the Israelis have prevented from getting goods into Gaza. And in fact, the other boats they've literally destroyed. They've just blown them up. So Greta, good old Greta, going in on that boat, and everybody's like, ooh, what's going to happen to Greta? And they just like went, first of all, they went into international waters to kidnap her, right? So it's like, oh, look, Israel breaking international law like Nazis. Huh, it's almost like they're a rogue state. And now she's back in Sweden. And she's literally just like... But what I appreciate about it is that she's straight up just like, yeah, what's happening is because of racism. Pretty much straightforwardly. I'm like, yeah, all right. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Like... Why do you think it's so difficult for us to just want everyone to live in peace? Like, what do you think... Why do you think that's so difficult? For us to just be like, they're fine. They're fine. They look a little different from us, and they're wearing different clothes, and they speak a different language, but they're fine. Like, that's what's kind of wild about it. Like, one of the things I love about living in Toronto, and the reason why I kept coming back to Toronto, is because there's so many different cultures. Like, you can, like, walk street by street and you're just in a different place, and I love that about it. I love that about Toronto. That you go to one place and it's, like, full of Sikh people, and you walk to another place and it's full of Indian people, and you walk to another place and it's full of Greek people, and then there's like, French people, and then you have to Chinatown, right? Like, you're going to these little places, and you're just, like, different culture, different language, down to the street signs. Like... It's really, really cool. I really, really like that about Toronto. And yet, for some reason, everyone has it in their mind that, like, we need to have, like, what, a homogenous, single language kind of... I'm just like, I don't know if we do. Do we? Why? It sounds sleepy and boring. Like, no thank you. And like, I don't think you could achieve it even if you wanted to. I think you just have to kind of be a manic person to think that you could actually achieve like a single race society. But I guess Nazis are not known for being sane. So what do you say? Here, something to think about. I rather liked this one. The Earth is 4.6 billion years old. Let's scale that to 46 years. We have been here for 4 hours. Our industrial revolution began 1 minute ago. In that time, we have destroyed more than 50% of the world's forests. This is not sustainable. Yep. It's because humans are very dumb. Humans are very dumb. We don't really think through our shit. Humans are very dumb. Canadians reject that they live on stolen Indigenous land, although no new poll reveals a generational divide. So what is it, like 50%? Yeah, 52% said they did not live on stolen Indigenous land, with only 27% saying they do. The remaining 21% say they didn't know or declined to answer. Canadians, we're pretty dumb. We don't really think things through. Doug Ford is now the most popular popular conservative in Canada. All right, I'm gonna finish up with this. I spent some time on this, but it matters to me. Miss Delane says, I thought Blue Sky was the leftist version of Twitter, but it's like a cesspool for Zionism. Yeah, it's just the internet. Miss Delane. Everything's a cesspool for Zionism now. Like, they don't want you to know about their genocide. Like, that's how egregious it is, though, is that it's like so obvious that even you know about it. So I'm going to close this one up. I'm going to try to do this a little bit more because it matters to me. And I hope it matters to you. If it doesn't matter to you and you think I'm stupid, just forgive me. That's fine. Forgive my frail human weakness. Am I safe? Yes. The last 3 hours, I had a wonderful, safe time with you. Thank you for being here. Did I have fun? You know what? I certainly did. It is a hard time out there. We're watching the rise of Nazism. We have to acknowledge that. But I do have to admit that I enjoyed the time that I spent with you guys. Your comments always matter to me. I really appreciate that you're all here. I appreciate how polite you guys are. How I know that I can feel that things are weighing on you, and I hope that the time we spend together lightens your load, because you know that we're all here together and we're sharing this collective burden. You are not alone. You are not alone. This is something I've been struggling with, and I'll admit it, that I have what's called imposter syndrome. That I come here and I don't know why people listen, and I play my music and I don't really know why people listen, and I feel fake, and I have to get over it, and that's here in the solar plexus. Here in the solar plexus. I am valid. I am as important as anyone else. What I say and what I think matters. What you say and what you think matters. That takes us into the heart chakra. I'm so grateful that you're all here. I'm so grateful that we have this opportunity to experience this absurd life together. I try to tell the truth as I see it. And I try to see the world in truth. And I hope that the creator that is around me and that I am is guiding me and is guiding you to some kind of divine ending that ushers in justice. Always remember, guys, each and every one of you is a quantum being walking around in quantum energy. These billionaires are spending hundreds of billions of dollars in the hopes that you will never realize it. You'll just stay the good little commodity they need you to be. Revolt. Rebel. Repent. Good luck. We're going to need it.